will keep you up to date all day with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in the morning.
First thing you do, don't flee a police officer.
That's what they think happened.
Followed by Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager. In the afternoon, it's Sean Hannity.
There is now an intoxicating drug. It's called Trump hate.
And Joe Walsh with your drive home.
God, they don't understand what the NRA is.
This is AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
510, check of the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Downtown Chicago, inbound Eisenhower. The exit ramp to the outbound Kennedy has just reopened. It had been closed for overnight construction. Elsewhere on the expressways and tollways, things look pretty good right now. Road conditions are fine. Reversibles are open inbound on the Kennedy. On the Rhine, it's all clear. No problems to report right now on the area tollways from northwest Indiana. Do have an issue on the rails. The TA Red and Brown Line trains are stopped at Fullerton right now. Report of an unauthorized person on the track. At O'Hare, until further notice, the airport transit system, transport trains, shut down from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. So at this hour until 8, connecting to the other terminals are shuttle buses, or you can walk between some of the terminals. Traffic service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? Staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partly sunny day, high 43. Some clouds tonight, low 31. Tomorrow, breezy with occasional rain, high 42. Then breezy with occasional snow and flurries, mainly early tomorrow night, accumulating a coating to an inch, mainly on non-paved surfaces with a low of 33. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
30 at O'Hare, 28 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Bringing you back, Amy? Bringing you back to your mid-40s, the 1980s?
Wow. Hey.
Night Court, Harry Anderson.
Yeah,
remembering...
what happened? He died?
Oh. Yes, remembering Harry Anderson today.
All day.
Harry the Hat from Cheers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The Magic, the Saturday Night Live appearances and all. But of course, Judge Harry Stone, the Mel Torme fan from Night Court,
is dead.
Died at the age of 65. Found at his home in Asheville, unresponsive, no foul play, suspected.
Oh.
The fact that he is 65 years old, how old does that make you feel?
That makes me. I'm in the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'll tell you. Here's the good news. It doesn't
Was he
make
a
you.
runner?
It doesn't make you feel as old as it makes Marky Post feel. So that's the good news.
Wow. They responded to the home at 6:41 in the morning, and he was deceased, but they're not saying what, except for there's no foul play.
Right,
So I'm just
so
saying, what health? Do we know what health ailments he had? Did he have cancer? What's going on?
No, I don't
This
believe
is not
so.
any way to start a Tuesday morning. By
Well,
the way. Hello, how are you?
I say this
Good.
because this is an iconic 80s figure, and we're broadcasting live this morning, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour, from an iconic Chicago business that really...
we grew up with.
Yeah, we grew up with. It
grew
kind of branded itself in the 80s. You always saw these commercials during the leadoff man before Cubs games.
Yep.
Remember? You remember.
Danby, building your garage with quality. Depend on Danby. That's why we're number one.
Call Danby now. Dial garages 427-2437.
That's an
Before
unworking
we
number.
had area codes.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah, right.
We were all 312 growing
Right.
up.
Yeah. Well, it's a throwback. So that's where we are this morning. Danley's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour, and it's big fun. Yeah. You
I
remember?
had a Danley garage. Did you?
You did?
Yeah. Well, we had Trek housing that they made in Mount Prospect, and all the garages were Danley's.
I remember that Danley, one of their niches was nudist colonies in the region, like Mount Prospect.
No, that was our second home. We bought our second home in the same neighborhood from a nudist.
Right.
Yeah. And he had 49 trees in his backyard and mirrors everywhere, even on the ceiling. I thought it was cool as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, this is the neatest thing ever, Mom. Look, there's mirrors in the bedroom on the ceiling. Now, why would anybody have that?
Those are Danley mirrors. Those were Danley mirrors back in the day. They were just starting to diversify. I believe. We'll find out a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, we just met the CEO who came over from another well-known company, and he'll tell his story and
Yeah,
how they're
Feldco.
turning this place around.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, well, we're going to remember Harry Anderson. Take your favorite moments from Night Court. Maybe it's a John Larroquette moment. Maybe it's a Richard Mall, Bull Connor. No,
Bull Connor.
No. What was his last name? What was Bull's last name in Night Court?
Anybody? 312-642-5600. The phone lines are open.
Somebody's completely different.
64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. How did I not know this?
Let's see. What Mac? Bill Shannon. Yeah, Bull Connor was a whole another problem with the civil rights era. Let's see who Marshall Warfield. Remember Marshall Warfield?
Yes.
Mel Torme. If you want to scat a little bit with us in honor of
you.
Harry Anderson.
So he started out as a magician before turning to comedy.
Yeah.
And eventually acting. And then he had his first break on Johnny Carson in 1988.
Yeah. That's great. Wikipedia comes in handy, doesn't it?
No, this is Rolling Stone because I didn't believe you at first.
I'm making it
I'm
up.
kind of up on the news, and that you shocked me there.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and
we're going to...
65 is way too young. I mean, there had to be something wrong, obviously. Well, because eventually his heart did stop beating.
Right.
And I'm not making light of this.
And you're not a doctor, but you were able to piece this together, Quincy. 312-642-5600 Turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA Turnkey.pro text line taking your memories. Maybe we'll do it like we did for Comey yesterday when we were remembering Jim Comey's career and do it in haiku form. If you have a Harry Anderson haiku, maybe we'll take that.
Holly from Hudson, wake up.
We've got some other additional haiku entries. We'll announce a Comey haiku winner.
Oh, yeah, because also yesterday they released excerpts that didn't make it into the 1 hour special. You know how he sat down for 5 hours And the Obama moment is spectacular.
All right,
You want to grab a tissue?
We'll have that after this. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Danley's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, the snow is gone for now, so enjoy today. We're going to have partly sunny skies, but it's going to be breezy. A high of 43, but factor in the wind chill, and it'll feel down near freezing. Tonight, a low of 31, and for tomorrow, breezy, occasional rain that might be snow, a high in the low 40s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Well, for those just pulling out of those Stanley garages, the expressways and tollways are in better shape than they were yesterday at this hour. That's for sure. Roads are looking pretty good right now. Downtown Chicago, there was a ramp closure affecting the inbound Eisenhower, the outbound Kennedy. All the ramps which had been open are open again, except for those closed for long-term works. The overnight work has cleared there. No delays to report on the Edens, Kennedy, Eisenhower, the Stevenson, or the Ryan. Bishop Ford inbound, just a little congestion approaching Merge. Tollways are looking good. Northwest Indiana's fine. Now the CTA red and brown lines, things are moving again. There was a report of an unauthorized person on the tracks at Fullerton. That situation is cleared. Trains are moving again. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Spring is in the air, but if you've got school-age kids, then you should already be thinking about back-to-school season this fall, and you should consider sending your child to a private school at half the regular cost, thanks to our very good friends at halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over the Chicagoland area that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at, you guessed it, half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's really that simple. They have schools. Here's a few: Calvin Christian School in South Holland, Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Good Shepherd Lutheran School in Downers Grove, and St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran School in Chicago. So make private Christian schools affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers always sell out, so visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Okay, from the start.
Acerola cherry.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, asparagus, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli. Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
I make my Texas superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Mangosteen.
Pineapple, sweet potato.
Papaya, parsley, peach.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, all of the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
You know, it's been barely a week, and already my skin is better.
I lost 60 pounds. I mean, that's huge.
Since I've been on superfood, I haven't been sick.
I'm Dennis Black here in Dallas, Texas. Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit?
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Or call 877-55-TEXAS. That's 877-55-TEXAS. 877-55-TEXAS. Or
TexasSuperfood.com.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at the HomeLoanExpert.com. Over the last several years, it's been difficult for business owners and self-employed borrowers to refinance or buy homes, but that's about to change, Ryan. Tell everyone about your new loan program.
We're really excited to announce the Bank Statement Mortgage. The Bank Statement Mortgage is going to be a game changer in the industry. We're the first people to bring it out to the market. Here's the deal. If you're a business owner or self-employed, maybe you're a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a realtor, insurance agent, a contractor, a web designer, whatever it is, you should be taking advantage of all of your taxable, all your deductions. When you do that, you might make $70,000 a year, but after you write everything off, you're down to about $25,000, and you can't qualify for a mortgage on $25,000 in adjusted gross income. Well, I don't need your tax returns, pay stubs, 1099s, or any of that. I'll qualify you on your bank statements. If you're self-employed and you need a mortgage, apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
There's always that time of day when the sun creates havoc at the office.
This is ridiculous.
You're literally blinded by the light. Can't see a thing on your computer monitor and feel like you're baking in an oven. Make your office or storefront distraction-free with custom shades from 1-800-4BLINDS. You'll keep your customers comfortable, protect furnishings and decor from fading, and have happy, productive employees that don't have to stop in the middle of a project because of the glare. 1-800-4BLINDS can get the job done quickly with their local in-house installation crew. You'll save money on window treatments that not only look great, but will also help you shrink utility bills with special heat-reducing shades that can trap heat between the window and shade. They also offer custom painted solar shades with your logo or photo image printed directly on the shade. Get the sun out of your eyes. Call 1-800-4BLINDS direct for a consultation today. 773-447-5448 or visit 1-800-4BLINDSChicago.com. That's 1-800-4BLINDSChicago.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, coming to you live from Danley's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. Talking a little bit of Jim Comey. We do have more haiku entries. I don't want to. I want to make sure that all are given fair airing before we make a decision. This comes to us from 708. Poor Americans. Comey wanted his bankrolled life at the truth's expense. Huh. Yeah, not bad. Very kind of.
Did you work on one?
I did not.
Me neither.
I just can't compete with this.
I know.
There's very kind of secret empires. Got one more from 708. He could have had her, but Trump doesn't kill people, and the Clintons do. I think that's elegant in its simplicity and may explain everything.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that may be the leader in the clubhouse right there.
Well, yesterday they released some, with the stuff that made it on the cutting room floor. I don't know. Where do you want to? There's three sound bites. One is about he describing the moment he cemented the fact that he'd never had a cordial relationship with President Trump.
No, look, any emoting from Jim Comey, I'm interested.
Okay, then you'll like this one. He recounts an emotional moment that he shared with President Barack Obama after the 2013 election.
You met with President Obama after the election.
Yeah, he held me back after one of the very last meetings I had with him. After the election, and he said, but I want to just tell you something generally. I appointed you to be FBI director because of your integrity and your ability. And then he looked me in the eye and he said, nothing has happened, nothing in the last year that has changed my view of that.
You're still my
And look, he wasn't telling me, I agree with what you did. He wasn't telling me you made the right decision. He was telling me, I know where it came from. I know you're not a partisan hack. I know you're trying to do the right thing. And it meant a lot to me. I mean, I had not been a political supporter of President Obama's. I came to deeply respect him and his higher loyalty to the values I care a lot about.
I mean, by the way, I'm not a partisan hack. Things a partisan hack says. Okay. So that was previewed before the interview last week.
Just hearing him say it, though.
No, I mean,
just having him say it.
And it wasn't trying to hold back the tears.
It wasn't good enough to make them 1 hour special. Okay.
Well, I mean, it was just, it's so emotional. But I appreciate Comey bearing his soul. Interestingly, many of his former colleagues at FBI do not. Robert Anderson, former executive assistant director of the FBI, believes that Comey is a good man, that he loved working for him, but he, like so many others who deferred to Comey, who gave Comey the benefit of the doubt, who thought he was treated badly and how he was fired by Trump, and now are breaking bad on Comey. Usually you don't have anybody in the FBI talking about ongoing investigations, said Anderson. If Jim says something in one interview, then says something in his book that's different, that gives a different version of it in another interview, and they use him as a witness, which I'm sure they will, then that could become a problem for the Russian investigation. He continued, the biggest thing that bothers me about the interview itself is that Jim is talking about some of the issues he discussed with the president in confidence. That's a little shocking that a former head of the FBI would do that. Ron Hosko, who we'll talk to at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour, former assistant director of the FBI, said similar. And we've talked about the number of individuals who have 20 and 30 years with the FBI who've turned on Comey, not initially,
but because of this.
But because he's a self-aggrandizing, what's the term? Oh, partisan hack.
A partisan. I'm not a partisan hack. One thing, I mean, we all have FBI agents that are friends. They would never run their mouths like this, ever. Because that's part of the FBI. It's like part of Fight Club. The number one rule, you don't talk about Fight Club. part of the FBI, you don't talk about prior investigations and current investigations. And he's doing both. Today he's on NPR. Then he's going to be on The View tomorrow with Jake Tapper on Thursday. Here in Chicago on Friday.
A higher royalty, as one of our listeners
right.
mentioned.
But it's the same. I listened to his
books.
NPR interview. It's the same canned sound. It's the same. It's like he had a. It's almost as if he rehearsed this to have standard answers for every question that was asked.
Well, and again, he presents himself as this reflective guy, and he's had all this time. In retrospect, I think this. In retrospect, I was feeling that. And yet he doesn't have any answers, as was displayed on Sunday night in the Stephanopoulos interview, for punting on the Clinton Lynch meeting, Loretta Lynch torching him. He had plenty of opportunity. If he had concerns, bring them to me. Never did. He didn't disclose the funding source of the Steele dossier to Trump. Doesn't know why. Didn't respond to Trump's alleged loyalty oath. Doesn't know why. For such a reflective guy who's thought this through very carefully, poured over his entire career, particularly the last 2 years of it, doesn't have answers on a lot of important questions.
I thought it was strange, though, the dossier question, because obviously it was funded by the Democrats, and that he wouldn't tell President Trump that really bothers me. That bothered me all day yesterday. But he couldn't even explain
he
why.
Know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't. I guess
it happened.
I guess it wasn't.
I mean, if the facts are paramount, that is something you want to bring to the table to tell the soon-to-be president of the United States.
Well, the interesting tell was he kind of said, "Well, that wasn't, in furtherance of my interest with respect to the dossier." Well, okay, but you're the FBI director. It's not just your interests or even the agency's interests that are at bar here when you're talking about the President of the United States. Something else Jim Comey seems to have forgotten. Coming up at 5:38, Michael Cohen is denied his TRO, and the president, Donald Trump, is denied his first look. We'll discuss it.
And later, an American woman wins the Boston Marathon. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
30 in clouds right now. President Trump reportedly pulling back on plans to impose new sanctions on Russia. Washington Post reports the president is not comfortable moving so quickly on new sanctions over the weekend. U.S. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley said new sanctions were on the way. A federal judge is refusing to block access to material the FBI seized from the office of President Trump's personal attorney. Porn star Stormy Daniels attended that hearing yesterday and reacted to the ruling.
Has acted like he is above the law. He has considered himself and openly referred to himself as Mr. Trump's fixer. He is played by a different set of rules, or should we say no rules at all.
The judge ruled it was premature to grant a temporary restraining order to prevent access to copies of materials seized by the FBI after raids at Cohen's home, office, and hotel room. Chemical weapons inspectors will not be allowed in the Damascus suburb where Syrian forces are accused of dropping chemical-laced bombs on civilians until Wednesday. Inspection teams have been in Syria since last Saturday. Teachers in Arizona begin voting later today on whether to strike for more money for salaries and school funding. A grassroots group is conducting that vote. Arizona's Governor Doug Ducey last week proposing raising teachers' pay by 20% over the next 2 years. Actor Harry Anderson is dead at the age of 65, but he would not want you to know him as an actor. He would want you to know him as a magician. Anderson was found dead at his home in Asheville, North Carolina yesterday morning. Cause of death not revealed. Police do not suspect foul play. A Michigan man is accused of sexually assaulting a woman in a Chicago Loop hotel over the weekend. Tyler Wilkin appeared in court yesterday. Bail was set at $100,000. The city's inspector general report on the water department email scandal, revealing that a supervisor was suspended for failing to report a number of racially offensive emails that were circulated among staffers over the past few years. According to a report released, Chicago Inspector General Joe Ferguson has now recommended that 7 water department employees be disciplined for sharing or failing to report the racial or sexist emails. The scandal previously led to the resignations of Commissioner Barrett Murphy and Deputy William Bresnahan. one of the few airlines to serve most of Illinois' airports outside of Chicago, defending its reputation after a scathing report on its safety. Allegiant Airlines yesterday called Sunday's piece on 60 Minutes one-sided. Allegiant flies out of the Quad Cities, Rockford, Peoria, Springfield, Bloomington Normal, and in the Metro East of St. Louis. Chicago sports, yesterday's series opener between the Cubs and Cardinals at Wrigley Field, postponed due to inclement weather. They'll try and open that series tonight. A's over the White Sox 8-1 in Oakland, and the Bears begin voluntary veteran minicamp today at Hallis Hall. The news, a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't going to get pushed around.
There's so much ugliness out there, and I admit I kind of contributed to it yesterday. Now, you know me. Somebody calls me and acts like a jerk to me, like a few of you did yesterday. I'm not going to just roll over because I didn't like the way the tone went with some of our callers.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Print up to 1,000 photos on your phone for free with Free Prints. Download the app and choose photos on your phone or on social media. Prints arrive in just days. Download it now at freeprints.com.
Hey everyone, Ken here from the award-winning company Income Store. If you were lost and scared in a forest, would you rather have a guide map or a guide standing next to you? Both will lead you out of the forest, one's just a bit more expeditious. When it comes to making more money, have you ever felt lost? Does it drive you a little batty when you know there's people out there, teenagers even, that are adding a different revenue stream, even in different industries, each and every year of their lives? Don't you know deep down there has to be a path out of what we call the financial forest? You know it's there, you just haven't found it yet. For almost a decade now, Income Store has provided guide maps to the do-it-yourselfers, the folks that have considerably more time than money, but they've also been the trusted guide to those with more money than time. If you're ready to stop bouncing around this thing we call the financial forest and serious about adding a second, third, or even fourth revenue model to your home or business, then you have to check out the 5-time Inc. 5000 Income Store. That's IncomeStore.com.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
5:36. Let's get an update on your morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Ryan, traffic is stop and go between Cermak and the Burns Circle. Looking at about a 5-minute delay now. The outbound side is wide open. On Bishop Ford, you've got about a 3-minute delay. Stony Island Theater to Converge. The other expressways and tollways are looking just fine right now as traffic starts to build for the morning rush. There are some residual delays on the CTA Red and Brown lines after there was an incident involving a person on the tracks near Fullerton. Traffic is a service of Shell. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Start saving on your very first fill and continue to save on every fill every day. Download the Fuel Rewards app, join and start saving today. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny and chilling, high near 42. Tonight, some clouds and a low near 30. Occasional rain, maybe some snow showers. Tomorrow, and a high of 41. Currently 29. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Hey, Mr. President, I got some advice. Ignore Comey. Just do your job. Ignore Comey. Just be president. We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Coming to you live from Danley Garages in Northbrook. Part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. Iconic Chicago brand. Happy to be here.
Got the beautiful sign behind us. If anybody's watching us live on Facebook.
Yeah, you remember the sign. You remember
Dan
the
will put on his makeup in the 6 a.m. hour. Maybe I'll treat myself to some, too. Thanks. Yeah.
So yesterday, Trump fixer, no Michael Clayton is he. He went to court with his attorney, which is a good idea.
Well, it's always good when your attorney has attorneys. Yeah.
He wanted a TRO regarding what the FBI sees from his home, from his office, from his hotel room. Didn't get it. The Trump administration, the president was also represented by counsel in that proceeding, and he wanted first look at what had been taken from Cohen's domiciles and
safety deposit box. I don't know why the safety deposit box. That seems it's a stretch that they raided all 3 of those places, plus then went to his bank and got in his safety deposit
Maybe
box.
It's a stretch. Maybe it's not. We don't really know. But Trump wanted to first look at that material that could be related to him. U.S. District Court Judge Kimba Wood denied that request as well. Kimba Wood.
Hello.
I don't really understand that. Okay.
Lion King, Kimba Wood. Wasn't that the star in Lion King?
Oh.
Kimba, cool.
Wasn't it? Was that? Wait, the Circle of Life? Is that?
Yeah, Simba. But Kimba
Simba,
Wood.
Not Kimba.
Kimba. I don't know.
Simba.
All right.
It's just close. It's not bad. The Lion King harmonizing was bad.
Yeah.
But the effort to... Kimba Wood. Kimba. All right. Okay. All right. I'll give you that one. All right. I'll give you that. That's not what I was thinking.
Okay.
Obviously. Kimba Wood. Do you recall that name?
Mm-hmm. No, I know.
Not from The Lion King.
I'm out.
Former nominee for Attorney General by one Bill Clinton. She had her nomination withdrawn, remember, because she had an illegal immigrant working for her.
Yes, she did.
It was
I don't
Zoe
know anybody
Baird,
who would do that.
then it was Kimba Wood, and then they landed on that dude from Florida, Janet Reno. That's
the procession.
Kimba
right,
Wood.
that's
So,
how it
hey, it's not just the politicians that never go away. Judges never go away either, and you never know where they'll pop up. So Kimba Wood presiding over this legal proceeding involving President Trump and Michael Cohen, shockingly not giving them the benefit of the doubt, although she has said they're just misciting the law in terms of their requests and the arguments behind those requests, deferring to the Southern District of New York, in which she expressed complete confidence in their integrity. So no sale there. And this is a real danger zone for Trump, and as Andy McCarthy has outlined here, because this is not about a campaign finance violation, it doesn't seem, particularly with the involvement of and the interest has been leaked in the dealings between Cohen and Karen McDougal, plus Stormy Daniels, plus the Hollywood Access tape. Seems to me, as Andy McCarthy argues, and I agree, that this is a look at whether President Trump and Cohen conspired to extort people for their silence. And so this is a federal criminal proceeding in the Southern District of New York, different and distinct from the kind of Russian collusion investigation going on at the Mueller level, which I think presents very little risk for Trump. This, McCarthy argues in National Review persuasively, it does present some problems. And one of the reasons you can provide the federal government with some leeway here is if a lawyer is involved in a criminal conspiracy, then the crime fraud exception to attorney-client privilege applies, and this is what was the basis of the search warrant and possibly a prosecution of Cohen. And can you prosecute Cohen to get to Trump on this rather pedestrian criminal matter rather than this kind of, spy intrigue that Mueller is investigating?
Well, and then yesterday, too, in court, they had, Cohen's client list, which they wanted to keep under wraps. He thought that was, client attorney privilege. And there was Client 3, and nobody knew who Client 3 was.
Not since Client 7 has there been a more important anonymous client.
Client 3 came out, and it was none other than Sean Hannity, and CNN went crazy. Stormy Daniels, heard there, that was a sideshow, that was a circus act, but that wasn't the real story.
And that brought a little bit more drama into the courtroom. Certainly, they talked about whether or not he had dealings with Sean Hannity, what kind of dealings those were. Sean Hannity says that he only sought legal advice from Michael Cohen, and he had nothing to do with the case that is going on at this point.
Client number 9, Elliot Spitzer, for those of you scoring at home.
Oh.
Client number 9.
Oh.
In terms of anonymous clients revealed. I just want
sorry.
to keep the
I thought
numbers
it was
straight.
3. The CNN messed up.
Yeah, so Hannity was disclosed. He responded at his radio show yesterday that he had never formally retained Michael Cohen. He knew Michael Cohen. Obviously, he knew he was an attorney for a long time. And
never
so he
paid him legal fees.
He had intermittently sought legal advice.
Well, and the legal advice he sought was on a possible real estate deal.
Let me set the record straight. Here's the truth. Michael Cohen never represented me in any legal matter. I never retained his services. I never received an invoice. I never paid Michael Cohen for legal fees. I did have occasional brief conversations with Michael Cohen. He's a great attorney about legal questions I had, or I was looking for input and perspective. My discussions with Michael Cohen never rose to any level that I needed to tell anyone that I was asking him questions.
And so this became a discussion point for Hannity on his program with a regular guest on his
Alan
program.
Dershowitz, who took him to task. He wasn't scolding him. Well, you decide.
I really think that you should have disclosed your relationship with Cohen when you talked about him on this show. You could have said just that you had asked him for advice or whatever, but I think it would have been much, much better had you disclosed that relationship. You were in a difficult situation,
If you understand the nature of it, Professor, I'm going to deal with this later in the show.
I understand.
It was minimal. I put out a statement about
it. You should have said that.
So they were talking about the Comey investigation, and Alan Dershowitz said, before we go any further, I just want to say that you should have disclosed that you had a relationship with Cohen. Do you think he should have done that?
Yeah, he should have done. He should have disclosed it. 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA turnkey.pro text line. I mean, it's just that if you have, when you're in his position and you're talking about these issues, if you have a material relationship with any of the people that you're talking about, professionally or personally, then you should disclose it.
And there was pictures of Sean Hannity and Cohen on Hannity's Twitter feed. If you look back, now they're pulling all of those forward. So if anybody really would have investigated, they would have known that they've known each other in the past. But I'm just concerned because I hope it is just that no money was exchanged, that there was no legal fees ever paid, and that it was nothing more than a real estate deal that they were discussing.
Well, so what if he had retained him as an attorney professionally and paid him legal fees for legal work completed?
Well, because
so what?
President Trump because Cohen, 2 clients that we know, President Trump and the RNC chairman, were both retained by Cohen to pay off alleged mistresses.
It's not the RNC chairman, a member of the RNC's board.
Excuse me,
Elliot Briotti, but we'll get to him in a second. But, okay, so you're worried about if Cohen was a fixer for Sean Hannity.
Yes.
That's the issue. But I mean, in terms of like retaining him to do legal work, whether he formally did or he informally did, he should have disclosed it. But there's no evidence to suggest there was anything salacious about his legal discussions with Cohen?
Well, some left-leaning websites are showing us a picture of this woman saying, is this why Sean Hannity had to retain Michael Cohen as an attorney?
Yeah, but that's a fishing expedition.
It
Not present something that is evidentiary.
I'm just worried. I'm a nervous Nelly. I love Sean Hannity. I think he's a great guy personally, professionally, and I don't want anything bad to happen to him, and I don't want this, witch hunt to turn into something nefarious that'll happen to him.
Well, of course, because he's connected to the guy who is facing some legal challenges right now and is connected to Trump. They're obviously going to draw lines, whether they exist or not. The left is, the D.C. press corps is. You just point out, as Dershowitz said, it's something you should have disclosed. But if it's you talking to Michael Cohen about some real estate deal or issue, okay, so what? I mean, Michael Cohen's entitled to have other clients.
Right.
I don't know why people would seek out Michael Cohen's legal advice based on what I've heard and
Was
seen
he
from
some
him.
great legal mind or something?
It doesn't appear to me that he is, but what do I know? The other interesting thing about yesterday's circus, and that's what it was.
Circus.
I mean, you can't.
Why was there a storm outside court?
Well, Stormy Daniels, a defiant Stormy Daniels, fresh off her appearance over the weekend in
where'd she go this
in
time?
Palm Beach at Ultra. Stormy Daniels making America horny again, April 13th and 14th at the Ultra Gentlemen's Club.
In Palm Beach, near Mar-a-Lago, that is.
Yeah, just across town from Mar-a-Lago.
No, it is, yeah. I mean, not that I've ever seen that place or gone.
Were you ever making Gentlemen's Club, because it is only for gentlemen.
It's only for gentlemen, right. Ladies, don't come in.
Stormy Daniels had this to say outside the courthouse yesterday.
He has never thought that the little man, or especially women, and even more women like me, mattered. That ends now. My attorney and I are committed to making sure that everyone finds out the truth and the facts of what happened, and I give my word that we will not rest until that happens. Thank you very much.
I mean, honestly, we already know. I don't need to know anything more about her one-night stand with then Donald Trump back in 2006. I mean, what is she trying to do? She already broke her non-disclosure agreement. She's been on Kimmel. She's been on CNN, 60 Minutes.
Yeah, she strikes me as sort of irrelevant to the Southern District of New York's investigation here, because it's except to the extent that she was paid this $130,000, and whether there was anything that she alleges in terms of intimidation or threats made. Mm-hmm. So that becomes sort of a separate issue.
And then her attorneys there, I can't stand that. Remember, he was a Democratic operative. He worked for Rahm Emanuel. And this guy won't get away from a camera either. He's worse than Reverend Jackson.
You assume this guy is sort of an oleaginous, marginally competent attorney, like say Michael Cohen.
Yeah, they're both cut from the same cloth.
But Avenatti actually, he's credentialed a little bit.
Oh, he is?
Okay. I don't think he's an idiot. I think he may be subhuman, like most plaintiffs' attorneys, but I don't think he's an idiot.
Right.
His remarks, though, yesterday, especially this one, I mean, they're Comey-like in their self-indulgence.
I have been concerned with my safety for the duration of the case, as my client has been, but we've decided the risk is more than worth it, and we're going to see this to conclusion, whether it's next week, next month, next year, no matter how long it takes, we're not going away. Thank you.
They're
Shoot me!
sticking to that pole.
Right here.
Avenatti, but
oh my gosh.
So they're heroes, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. Never mind.
It's all about the double D's.
Yeah, it's all about
E's.
And
protect these double E's. No, maybe her double E's will protect them.
It's all about
Somebody
justice
shoots
to
at
them.
him.
But there is something. They keep going back to kind of the safety that they're under siege. I think that is positioning. I think it's legal positioning with respect to this potential extortion case that the Southern District of New York may be trying to make out. So just listen to what they're saying and what you think the Southern District of New York is trying to do, because I think there is some real legal peril here. You may think it's silly. You may want to dismiss Stormy Daniels. But if the Southern District of New York goes after the President of the United States, if they can get to him through Cohen, then he's got a problem. Dan and Amy coming to you from Danley's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I've been suffering from depression for about 45 years. I've probably been on 5 to 6 different antidepressants. And even when they did work, and there was that underlying feeling of depression, and it would never go away. Just call one of the treatment centers and just talk to the psychiatrist or doctor, and you'll be on your way. I'm Christy. I'm a wife and a mother and a real estate broker, and I no longer suffer from depression.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. You can make real progress in the battle with depression, cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call the most honest lender in the mortgage business. That's Team Hochberg. Billy's family was cruising along until he lost half his income, which forced him to load $50,000 on his credit cards to cover expenses. Tired of the stress living paycheck to paycheck, Bill called Team Hochberg to consolidate his debt. Team Hochberg helped Bill consolidate all his credit card debt into a 30-year fixed loan. It gave Bill a credit for all his closing costs and reduced his payments over $1,400 a month. Wow. Bill was stressed out before calling Team Hochberg, but saved over $16,000 a year by calling Team Hochberg. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck like Bill and would like to see if refinancing can lower your monthly payment, then call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. For no BS, honest advice, call Team Hochberg, 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, NMLS 19186.
Hey, we know replacing your roof is a big deal and a big decision. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. We would love to do your roof. Why choose Crumweedy to do your roof or roof repairs?
It's all about installation. Our guys are pros. When we install your roof, you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that's up to manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is intact. You'll be happy.
Cost. We give you a good, better, best option. You choose. No high pressure.
We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you.
We do business the right way. We have a special offer that includes free gutters with a new roof. Ask about it. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Trust, trust, trust. Yes, I said trust 3 times because I want to tell you about a recent AM 560 charity benefactor and company that built their business and reputation over 3 decades by being trustworthy. I'm talking about Dependable Construction and founder Joe Barron. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer, then progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Dependable Construction has grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. So call Joe at Dependable Construction today. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. tuckpointchicago.net.
28 degrees at 5:57. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic's backed up on the inbound Rhine approaching downtown right at the Burns Circle. Crews were doing they term emergency pothole patching right in the center lane. It just cleared out of the way, but there's a jam starting before the Stevenson. And actually in the express lanes, the delays start at 35th, so it's about 28 minutes right now from 95th to downtown. Outbound, it's fine at 15 minutes. Inbound Bishop Ford heavy starting around the Stony Island feeder. It's 25 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. I-57 is fine. Eden still clear. Kennedy, 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Make it 24 now. Delays are at 190 to Foster. Outbound, 25 minutes downtown to the airport. Mount Eisenhower, 39 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, 33. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Traffic, service of Shell. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Start saving on your very first fill and continue to save on every fill every day. Download the Fuel Rewards app. Join and start saving today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, high 43. Tonight, some clouds, low 31. Tomorrow, breezy and cold, occasional rain, high 42. Snow and flurries tomorrow night with a low 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 28 degrees and cloudy skies. The news is service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites, relax with contemporary lobby makeovers, stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. 5:59. Here are the stories we are following on AM 560, The Answer. A bitter cold April. New stats from the National Weather Service say it is the fourth coldest start to April on record. A Michigan man accused of sexually assaulting a woman in a Chicago Loop hotel over the weekend appeared in court yesterday. Bail set for Tyler Wilkin at $100,000. A retired West Aurora math teacher who was facing child pornography charges is dead, apparently shooting himself. Robert James's body was found over the weekend in a field in Aurora. Yesterday's series opener between the Cubs and Cardinals at Wrigley wiped out due to inclement weather. A's over the White Sox, 8-1 in Oakland. Currently 28 degrees. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
They still can't look at what the FBI seized. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Neither prosecutors nor President Trump's personal lawyer have been given access yet to all the records and documents taken in the raids targeting Michael Cohen last week.
Judge Kimba Wood has said that she is going to let the government put everything together, make copies of all of the documents, the physical and electronic copies, and remember there was a lot of it, and then give those copies to Michael Cohen's team, who will then confer with Trump's legal team so that they can go over what was seized.
Fox's Laura Ingle outside the court in New York says a neutral lawyer may oversee the process. It was also revealed Sean Hannity was one of Cohen's clients. The Fox TV host responded that Cohen never represented him and he never paid Cohen.
I have no personal interest in this legal matter. That's all there is, nothing more.
There's a taxing case at the Supreme Court today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, shopping online could soon cost more. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments today on whether online transactions should include state sales tax, regardless of the location of the consumer or retailer. More than 40 states are asking the High Court to abandon its rule that businesses don't have to collect state sales tax when shipping a product to a state where it doesn't have an office, warehouse, or other physical presence. Sellers who defend the current rule say collecting sales tax nationwide is complex and costly, especially for small businesses. Dave.
Rachel, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has come to America. He'll meet with President Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida today. A big topic, North Korea.
What appears to be Abe's priority right now is that summit with Kim Jong-un, saying yesterday, quote, I hope to hold a dialogue with President Trump so as to urge North Korea to abolish its nuclear missiles in a full and irreversible manner.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Syria claimed today that it had shot down more missiles fired at the country. Then state TV came out and said it was a false alarm. Fox News, fair and balanced.
The best conversations happen with a cigar in one hand and a fine drink in the other. Join Larry Elder live in Chicago for Cigar Night, presented by Precision Payroll of America on Thursday, May 17th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Larry will be joined by AM 560's Dan Proft for an evening of cigar smoking and good conversation. Tickets start at $29 and include a cigar. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, and by the Elmhurst Cigar House.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179. Or visit them online at globalverificationnetwork.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
Your yard is not just a yard. It's a baseball diamond, a water park, a movie theater, and a grand banquet hall. Your yard is where memories are made, and you have the best seat in the house with the John Deere X350 Select Series tractor. Now equipped with the exclusive one-touch mulch control system, you can tell your clippings where to go, out the chute, or back into your lawn with just the push of a button. Nothing runs like family, and nothing runs like a Deere. Visit your local John Deere dealer to test drive one today.
I'm having that 6:59 feeling again.
What?
You know, that mini panic attack right before the workday starts when you're sure you've forgotten something?
Nope, that's my favorite time of day. I work with Cintas, so I always know we're ready for the workday. They handle our uniforms, fire extinguishers, first aid, safety training, floor mats, and restroom supplies.
I think I need to call Cintas.
They might just make a morning person out of you.
Oh, I'm ready! Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago, the monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. But I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, coming to you live from Danley's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. Of course, iconic brand in Chicago. Happy to be here. And I want to get to Blago in just a second. We've had a few inquiries about Hannity and the question of Hannity saying he never retained Cohen. So does attorney-client privilege attach? Is it enforced between Hannity and Cohen? And the answer is maybe. You don't have to pay an attorney for attorney-client privilege to attach. If somebody seeks legal consultation and reasonably believes that conversation will be confidential, then privilege attaches. So it matters exactly what Cohen and Hannity discussed and the nature of that discussion, whether or not their conversations are protected, his conversations are protected by privilege, which he said he hopes.
Do you think Cohen, as an attorney, would record their conversations or write down what they discussed, and that was possibly seized last week during the raid?
It's possible, and again, I don't know if that would be outside the scope of the search warrant or not, because I haven't seen the search warrant.
Right,
and
right
so
now
this is what they were attempting to litigate in part yesterday with the TRO that Cohen sought and did not receive.
Right, because he wanted to have a mediator come in and go through the evidence and then decide what is pertinent and what's not.
Correct. What comports with the four corners of the search warrant and what is outside of those parameters.
What a mess. I mean, I really think this is an overreach of government, really.
Well, we're gonna find out soon enough. So then on a related story, now that we're talking about we seem to have to focus on everybody and all of their criminal legal jeopardies. Blagojevich. Should Rod Blagojevich be pardoned or have his sentence commuted by President Trump? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
You know, I should have worn my free Rod shirt.
Yes. You can only bring that on certain occasions, and today was one of those occasions.
Today was one of them, and I didn't.
Well, Patty Blagojevich was on with Tucker Carlson last night, going back to our friends at Fox. And boy, oh boy, if only Tucker Carlson had taken as much interest in Jeannie Ives' campaign against a guy he calls a fake Republican as he has in providing a platform for Patty Blagojevich to cry about a fungible, corrupt Chicago Democrat. Maybe things would have turned out differently on March 20. I don't Tucker and his priorities, but nonetheless, Patty was on making her case for her husband after the Supreme Court declined to take up his case yesterday.
Well, you know, we were so disappointed today that the Supreme Court did not decide to take up our case and end this very dangerous conflict that we have in the law right now, and provide clarity that we had hoped for. The clarity that both anyone who runs for political office and anyone who donates to those political candidates really needs. This is so dangerous because it allows the FBI and power-hungry, overzealous prosecutors like Patrick Fitzgerald, who prosecuted both my husband and Scooter Libby, to go after anyone that they don't like just because that person might be unpopular or controversial. It's, you know, my husband is probably the only person in the entire history of the United States who is serving any kind of sentence for simply asking for campaign contributions.
How many years did he get?
It's a 14-year sentence, and he never took a bribe, never took a kickback, never made any promises to contributors for any official acts. We never took gifts, trips, cars, watches, any of the other things that some of these other governors have been convicted of, and yet he serves a sentence that's twice as long as anyone else.
And in full disclosure, I did have Governor Blagojevich judge a science fair at my sister's middle school, Scammon Middle School in Chicago.
There's no privilege that attaches to that.
I'm just letting you know.
There's no science fair judge, radio talk show host privilege. I don't know. Just hate to break
and he was so interested and he stayed for hours. We're like, come on, we can go. Let's go. And he's like, no, this one's really good, Amy. I got to judge this one.
This is Jupiter? Does Jupiter look like it? Saturn has rings?
No, he wasn't like, please. He's not. I mean, he may have
Uranus, that's a funny one. That's what he said, didn't
He's
he?
a smart man. I just
she's brilliant.
honestly, the only thing is I can think of Scooter Libby pardoned on Monday, maybe Rod Blagojevich pardoned up by Friday.
The only thing
312-642-5600. I mean, he's already spent 6 years in jail. That is enough time. We've got the message.
That's only 1 year for all of the 6 counts he was convicted with respect to financial extortion. Sorry, I hate to break it to Patty Blagojevich, but her whole routine there about he never did a nothing to nobody.
Cash never landed in his hand.
You don't have to complete a crime in order to be convicted of a crime. Those are different crimes. He was convicted of there's 6 felony counts of financial extortion, effectively. I hate to. I hate
don't
to break
let the facts get in the way of a good sob story.
Exactly.
So President Trump, because Rod Blagojevich was on Celebrity Apprentice, and this is what happened during the season.
So are you responsible?
He was project manager.
I think we did not win. But I think if you were looking at this like a baseball team, we're making progress. I believe some of our talent.
Yeah, but you're making progress and you're running out of people.
Understand?
You know, you're doing wonderfully. Everything's great, but you keep losing and you're running out of people.
Right.
And you're the project manager.
Right. I know.
How is this show popular?
And Governor, I have great respect for you. I have great respect for your tenacity, for the fact that you just don't give up. But Rod, you're fired.
So he was project manager with Brett, the singer with the blonde hair, long blonde hair.
Brett Michaels.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
Brett Michaels was on his team.
Should've been his
Daryl
lieutenant
Strawberry,
governor.
and he was in charge. He was project manager in Orlando of having a 3D pop-up to promote the rides, and he just couldn't get it done. But after President Trump fired him, or then Donald Trump, excuse me, he felt a little bad.
But I really feel badly.
I think you made the right choice, though. They lost because they didn't have the specifics, and he was the one who ultimately was in charge of a few of those key mistakes.
He couldn't handle it. You gave him a task that he just physically couldn't handle. It's pretty sad.
I cannot believe we're relitigating Celebrity Apprentice. This is totally off the rails.
It's not. I'm trying to give you a little background into the relationship between President Trump and Rod Blagojevich.
And so the relationship they had on Celebrity Apprentice
might
translates
spill over into real life.
To getting his sentence commuted or being
Honestly,
pardoned.
I think that's the only way out now. I mean, he has reached
correct.
the end of the legal line.
Yeah.
And it's got to be heartbreaking for Patty and the girls, and heartbreaking for him.
But if
Annie graduates from college this year in a few months. His other daughter's going to be a freshman
What about all
in
the
high
friends
school.
he's made and the Shakespeare students that he instructs?
Prison life. So you got to get out, you got to get by, or you're going to get run over in prison.
What about the ditties he's composing?
Well,
He's got a lot of quality.
And it's got
alone
to
time.
sting even more that while he was incarcerated, the Cubs won the World Series. The man has suffered.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just don't see our tax dollars going to support this law student or this law grad, former governor.
I love the tax dollars argument. The tax dollars argument is kind of the last refuge that's used by people who just like somebody who's in prison and want them to be released.
I think about what Jesse Jackson Jr. did, and I think about what Rod did, and that is unjust. That is the definition of it. Jesse Jackson Jr. received all those gifts and did all these nefarious things, payoffs and bribes, got 1 year in prison. And not even that, because then he was in a halfway house. It's bull jive. What's happening to Rod Blagojevich compared to Jesse Jackson Jr.?
I would have been happy for Jesse Jackson Jr. to get more time.
Well, I would have too, for things to be fair, but we don't live in with an equal playing field.
But point of order, Jesse
this
Jackson Jr. was using campaign funds illegally, campaign funds privately raised, private funds. Rod Blagojevich was shaking down senior staff at a children's hospital for campaign cash. And holding out state resources. So that's the definition of extortion. If I don't get this, you don't get that. If I don't get campaign cash, you don't get state money to which you're entitled under Medicaid, for example. That's a problem. That's the culture
and
of
that's fine.
corruption
6 years in prison for that. That one shakedown for Children's Hospital, I'm good with that. But the rest, and then also too, again, think of U.S. Patrick Fitzgerald was the lead prosecutor in the Scooter Libby case and the Rod Blagojevich case, and it would be a double whammy this week if both of the people he convicted
Scooter
were pardoned.
Libby case and the Rod Blagojevich case couldn't be more different on the merits. So the merits actually matter, too, not just the fact that you've got two guys who were convicted and one of them was pardoned. Scooter Libby's pardon was long overdue. That was a sham prosecution by Patrick Fitzgerald. Patrick Fitzgerald's prosecution and the sentencing of Blagojevich may have been politicized. Of course it is. He's a political figure. But it comes on the heels of George Ryan being sent away, and so they were the judge and federal prosecutors wanted to send a message to Illinois politicians, one that hasn't been received, of course, but at least they attempted to with a arguably draconian sentence. You know, but the idea that we should expend any tears over Rod Blagojevich, given what we know he did and the context in which he did it, sort of baffles me. But I know this is why this is a state that is bent on self-immolation. This is a state that refuses to be saved because we focus so much energy on worrying about corrupt governors, more energy there than we worry about getting the right governor. It's just remarkable to me. Steve on 88 text, Blago is in fact guilty of hosting a radio show on another Chicago radio station. That is true.
Yeah, so what his stint as a radio talk show host?
It was criminal.
It was. It wasn't great,
according to Steve on 88, and I agree with him.
But he's coachable. You know, he can.
Text from 773. Amy, justice does not compare one kind to the other. Justice holds one accountable for one's actions against the law by itself. You're wanting charity, not justice. On what ground should he be pardoned? He broke the law. The ground is Amy says so. Those are the grounds. Dan and Amy coming to you from Danley's in Northbrook, part of AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Ron in Berwyn agrees with you for no other reason than the fact that Blago was arrested before he actually made the deal. In order to protect Jesse Jackson Jr., I think Trump should commute his sentence, not pardon him. I agree with you about the whole, why don't you get buyer and seller with respect to that sentencing deal. Never got a satisfactory answer from Patrick Fitzgerald on that.
Somebody that an FBI agent told me they moved in when they did because Blago was going to appoint himself to the U.S. Senate seat.
Then let him do it and take him out if he's guilty of these other crimes and you had him dead to rights because you had him under surveillance. That answer, or he was about to consummate some kind of deal, that answer doesn't jive at all. Then wait for the deal to be made. When you're surveilling a drug transaction, you wait for buyer and seller. And you get
have
both.
to to get them both, and then secure the evidence.
Doesn't make sense.
Today partly sunny, not as cold. I think you're coming around. Do you want to?
No, I'm not.
A high of 43 degrees. Tonight, clouds, a low of 31. And for tomorrow, it's going to be breezy and cold again. We're almost there, folks, really. Occasional rain that might turn into snow. Sorry. And a high of 42 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Inbound Bishop Ford. It's heavy from 8094 to 159. Got a crash there in the left lane. Then farther north from Cottage Grove to the merge. About 26 minutes. Get from 8094 to the Ryan. I-57 is still clear, though. Inbound Ryan heavy, starting around 35th, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 19. Kennedy, 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. On Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to the circle, outbound 33. Stevenson, already 52 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The rapid evolution of technology and industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage. From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, are the industrial automation experts. For more information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's helped me tremendously, the product. You know, I cut down on colds. I have more energy. It really helped me with allergies. I mean, I know that they're there when they're ready to kick in, but they don't kick in. And I don't really have as much sugar cravings as I used to have. So it's definitely been really good that I went on this.
I have seen a tremendous change in my skin. My skin looks really, really good, and I love it. I had eczema like on my arm and my elbows and all on my feet. I mean, I was so embarrassed. And now I don't fear anything. I wear my arms out. You know, everything is cleared up so nicely, and I love it. I love it.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares.
I didn't realize what I was getting into. The whole thing was just a scam. I finally found information on Chuck, and he agreed to meet us. It was just a wonderful experience because he knows that business inside out, and he actually wanted to solve our problem.
I fought the largest timeshare company in federal court, and yes, I won. Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, we can help cancel your mortgage. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation at 800-786-9300. That's 800-786-9300. 800-786-9300.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Ronald Reagan was quite accurate when he said, "The most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.'" Modern conservatives would wholeheartedly agree.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Spring is here. It's Amy Jacobson, and I suggest you add this to your spring cleaning. Throw out that old flat pillow and buy your very own new MyPillow. Not only will it keep its shape and adjust your ideal sleeping position, but you can wash and dry it whenever you want. And yes, the best MyPillow 4-pack deal is still available. Go online or call now to take advantage of this great deal. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the MyPillow 4-pack deal with 2 premium MyPillows and my favorite, those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. Start spring out right. No more headaches or stiff neck with your hypoallergenic Made in America MyPillow with its 10-year warranty plus that 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the MyPillow 4-pack today. Call 800-489-0201, use the promo code Amy, or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and this week on Against the Current at upstream-ideas.com.
I heard somebody really hot owns that website.
Well,
but I think that they're going to have a calendar coming out soon, too. They're so good looking.
Opinions vary, but I appreciate that.
Did things just get uncomfortable? Sorry.
Burgess Owens is our featured subject, and Burgess wrote the book Liberalism, or How to Make Good Men into Weenies, Whiners, and Wimps, which is a great title. He's got this way of talking about the cultural Marxist, the identity politics obsessed left. Says what the left does, what the cultural Marxist does, what the modern leftist does, use, abuse, and discard people. Use, abuse, and discard people. And let me give you a case study on what he's talking about. Do you remember that terrible incident last week? 15 members of a junior hockey team in Saskatchewan, Canada, an accident on a highway in Saskatchewan. 15 members of a junior hockey team died in a bus accident when their bus collided with a tractor trailer.
Yeah, and one of those was a girl, a woman. She was an equipment manager. She died. The head coach died. It was just heartbreaking.
A GoFundMe page was set up for the victims and families. It surpassed $4 million last week. It's now, at least as of this weekend, is north of $11 million. And yet here's one response from a writer in Quebec City who has written for Maclean's Magazine, The Globe, The Daily Mail.
Okay.
Her name is Nora Loretto. I'm trying not to get cynical about what is a totally devastating tragedy, but the maleness, the youthfulness, and the whiteness of the victims are, of course, playing a significant role.
Oh, my. Race has nothing to do with this.
Always does.
Why does it always have to?
Even in tragedy, the left will not relent. So you think that you're somehow insulated from them coming after you, discarding you? You want to affiliate with them? You're useful until you're not. You're useful until you're not. Say you're a black conservative, then you're no longer useful for their prosecution of identity politics. They're very cavalier with the lives of others. Somehow the maleness, the youthfulness, the whiteness of the victims play a role in the amount of money raised. It's some even this has to be sort of symbolic of their arguments of institutional racism or white privilege. They just will not stop, and they don't care about you. They care about power over you.
Well, in this case, it was, a number of NHL hockey players, professional hockey players, donated to that. They wore Humble Strong on their jerseys, because hockey community, it's a tight-knit community, and you spend hours on the ice, and you get to know other family members and other players. You become a family, and that's what they realized was destroyed, and 15 lives lost, and that's why there's been such an outpouring of support for these kids and their family members.
Just remember, this piece in BizPac Review notes this, but it's a good selection they made from C.S. Lewis. Those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. That's what the left is. And Nora Loretto is a prime example of what Burgess Owens is talking about, what C.S. Lewis warned us about. So pay attention.
And our thanks this morning to Ernesto Suarez for listening to AM 560. Thanks, Ernesto Suarez, for making AM 560 part of your morning. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bankruptcy is not a four-letter word, not if you're a municipality in the state of Illinois. We're going to talk to Ted Dabrowski from WirePoints.com about the city of Harvey and what it portends for the community in which you live.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Outside, we have partly sunny skies, 28 degrees. Syrian state media says a reported strike on military installations today was a false alarm. Earlier, it was reported that cruise missiles had been fired at air bases. The U.S. denied any involvement in that attack days after the U.S. and U.K. and France launched strikes in retaliation for chemical weapons attacks blamed on the Syrian government. Meantime, chemical weapons inspectors will not be allowed into the Damascus suburb where Syrian forces are accused of dropping chemical-laced bombs on civilians until Wednesday. Crews are continuing efforts to contain wildfires in western Oklahoma. Fires, which began late last week, have scorched hundreds of thousands of acres, have left 2 dead, and destroyed 30 homes in Dewey County alone. Today is your last day to file your 2017 income tax returns. April 15th fell on a Sunday, and a local holiday in Washington, D.C. gave you 2 extra days to file. But the deadline is here. Your federal and state taxes are due at midnight. Actor and magician Harry Anderson is dead at the age of 65. Anderson was found dead at his home in Asheville, North Carolina yesterday morning. Police do not suspect any foul play. A high-ranking Chicago police officer and lieutenant are accused of engineering a scheme that provided free parking for off-duty cops at the United Center. City's Inspector General released a report yesterday saying a deputy chief and a lieutenant executed the preferential parking scheme during Bulls and Blackhawks games. Patty Blagojevich very disappointed that the U.S. Supreme Court decided not to hear former Governor Rod Blagojevich's appeal on his corruption case. Illinois' former First Lady releasing a statement yesterday saying her family will continue to work to bring her husband home. Cubs and Cardinals weathered out yesterday. A's over the White Sox 8-1 in Oakland. The news a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on a huge selection of ink and paper and the latest printers. Now at Staples, get 50% off the HP OfficeJet Pro 6900 series this week, only at Staples, your total printing solution. While supplies last, valid on SKU 225-6781, ends 4/21. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains what secularism does to a society.
The famous quote from the end of the 19th century is, when people stop believing in God, they don't believe in nothing, they believe in anything, because wisdom begins with fear of God. Sorry, secularists out there, you are guaranteed a dumb society when you get rid of God and the Bible.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
6:35. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound. It's heavy at Niles Center Road to Montrose. 28 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 19. Kennedy, 43 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 25 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound 31 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower's 53 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 34. Stevenson, already an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Delays start at Weber. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 32. Crash at 159th in the left lane. On Tri-State slow. Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Traffic is a service. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details. Be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny and chilly today, high 42. Currently 28. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, coming to you from Dan Lee's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. Pleased to be here promoting this iconic Chicago brand that, of course, you remember the Dan Lee's commercials, don't you?
I could still sing on my thing.
Dan Lee, building your garage with quality. Depend on Dan Lee. That's why we're number one.
Call Dan Lee now. Dial Garages 427-2437.
It's like one of the it's like Empire Carpets or
Yeah,
like
that's Al
Victory
Parker
Auto
doing
Wreckers.
the voiceover too.
Al Parker?
Yeah, he's the voiceover work for that.
The Al Parker?
Yeah, he used to be the announcer for ABC 7 News. He
Oh.
taught at Columbia. Was a lovely man. But yeah, that was before the game. Then also during Bozo Buckets. Remember the Danley commercials?
I remember like them from the leadoff man, but it would make sense, I guess, that they'd be in Bozo Buckets too.
Didn't you get what happened with your cousin?
I don't wanna,
no.
I don't want to talk
This
about
is
it.
the best because I'm still waiting to hear back for them because I applied a long time ago. I still want to go on the show. Do you think I still have a chance?
I don't know how to break this to you.
What?
But Cookie said you're not allowed on the program.
You got on.
He didn't like the
How
way
did
you
get
treated
on?
Wizzo.
Oh, yeah. How did you get on the show? Did you write in? Because
Yeah.
I wrote letters all the time to
Got-
get onto
Got clout.
Cloud. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're in the audience.
I don't want to talk about my Bozo Buckets. I want to talk about pensions. We're talking about iconic Chicago.
I want to talk about. We can get to pensions.
No.
They're only getting bigger, but tell me about the Bozo
Yes,
Buckets.
exactly.
So the arrow came and it landed because like they played the music and the white arrow, and then it would land on a kid, and it landed on you, right? But what happened, Dan?
I didn't get to go and play Bozo Buckets.
So what happened? You got bigfooted by your cousin.
Yeah.
Who said, no, that's me. Let me get in here. And your cousin went down and got to play Bozo Buckets. How far did he get? One
fine.
bucket, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That's why I'm so angry.
6? What? How did he do?
Yeah, I think he got to like 4, which is weak.
You.
Pathetic. Those 50 silver dollars would have been in my pocket had I gotten to play.
If you got to the 6th bucket.
I was a dead eye.
Oh, wait, you would have
Bozo
been
Buckets.
so
You
good. And
kidding
then
me?
you would have pushed over Cookie. You're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Give me my money.
That was going to be my big break, but
Do you still talk to your cousin?
didn't work out for me. We lost touch after that when we were 8. All right, switching gears from Bozo Buckets and your assorted silliness, Amy.
Yes.
City of Harvey last week, we talked about it.
Oh, awful. What's happening there?
Laying off essentially half the fire department, half the police department. There was a presser yesterday, Jeannie Ives, Ted Dabrowski from wirepoints.com, where they talked about what needs to be done, because here's the deal. This is happening everywhere. Hundreds of municipalities are in various states of insolvency throughout the state of Illinois. And bankruptcy doesn't have to be a 4-letter word. It is a way to confront the financial realities on the ground, reorganize for the purposes of revitalizing, which frankly is happening in Detroit after their
Right.
bankruptcy. There is a revitalization and a bit of a rebirth going on in
Yeah,
Detroit.
it's become an artisan community now. All these artists are moving in, fancy restaurants. They raised all these houses in one neighborhood on the east side, and now it is a organic farm. So they started farming back. It's kind of crazy, but it's working.
Well, that's because prior to that, they were scarifying their roads because they couldn't afford to upkeep them.
No, yeah.
So, I mean,
And a lot of people were setting their own houses on fire to try to collect on the home insurance. homeowners insurance policy. So it was just a mess.
Right, and there's only so much blood you can pull from people. So Harvey, median home value has declined 80% in real dollars in the last decade. Last year, the median home sale price, 393 homes sold, 22 grand. The effective property tax rate as a percentage of home value there is 6%, which is 6 times the national average. Last year in Harvey, more than 4,200 properties failed to pay more than $10 million in property taxes because they don't got the money to finance the confiscatory tax rates. And then now the state is intercepting funds, tax funds, that would be directed to Harvey because they're essentially garnishing Harvey's revenue to pay off a $7 million judgment for short funding pension payments entered against the city of Harvey. So the city of Harvey has reached the point where you can't keep the Ponzi scheme up any longer. You've got to make a decision, and the decision you're left with is to throw up your hands or to start slashing services. Here's where we're getting to in Illinois. Your job, your pension, your home. You cannot get all three. You may not be able to get any of the three, as is the case in Harvey where the unemployment rate's 20%. The city's fire pension fund, 22% funded. Police fund, 51% funded, which is a lot better on a percentage basis than Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
More than 104 of their $160 million in debt is related to police and fire pension funds.
Oh, my gosh.
And here's what's happening, okay? The city of Harvey taxpayers have paid out nearly $25 million in pension benefits to 42 retired firefighters who contributed a collective $1.14 million to their retirement fund. 42 firefighters put in $1.14 million. They've paid out, has the city, nearly $25 million so far. You can't make the math work. So don't tell me about they don't get Social Security. Don't tell me about short funding pensions. Don't tell me about this blank check that people are owed. You cannot make the math work at these benefit levels. You have got to be willing to address the benefit levels if you don't want these pension funds to capsize. Frankly, if you don't want these municipalities to capsize under the weight of these pension funds. And interestingly, I mean, just in terms of fairness here, not just in terms of median household income versus what these salaries and guaranteed benefit levels are, how about where these retirees go? We at southcooknews.com, which is one of my papers, looked at
I hear the owners are hot.
Opinions vary. Yeah. But thank you.
No, Tillman's not involved.
Brian Timpone.
Brian Timpone. Oh,
yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
He's hot. He went to Iowa, too. So.
No, he didn't actually. He went to
Missouri. Oh, it's Missouri. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think I've made that mistake twice now. Then how did he know my
I'm glad you're learning from it.
It's all hodgepodge of love.
Yeah, we'll get into your social circle another time.
But how did your social circle get into my social circle?
LGIS looked at the 42 retired firefighters that I just mentioned and the benefit levels they've collected. And half of them live outside of Illinois. 5 of the 42 still live in Harvey. So Harvey taxpayers are sending checks to Arizona, Florida, South Carolina, Nevada, Michigan, Tennessee, nearby Indiana. And I don't blame people from leaving Harvey or leaving Illinois because if you don't have to stay, why would you? 60% of those 42 firefighters in Harvey have been retired for more than 20 years.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
And you can retire, what, at 50, 55? In Chicago, it's early retirement.
Yeah.
For firefighters and police officers.
I'll give you a couple examples. Angelo Marquez joined the department in 1973, graduated 2 years later from South Suburban College with an emergency medical tech certification, retired in 94 at the age of 51, having paid $0 into the firefighters' pension fund, according to Illinois Department of Insurance records. Marquez, whose property records show lives in the Discovery at Star Valley Community in Tucson, Arizona, has collected $688,000 from Harvey taxpayers in his 24-year retirement. By age 81, he'll have collected $1.265 million.
Oh, and that's tax-free, right?
I
mean, they don't tax pensions.
We don't tax pension income in Illinois.
Okay.
Right. That's not the case in most of the other states. Steve Serzicki worked 30 years for the Harvey Fire Department before retiring in 2013 at the age of 53. A year later, he moved to Henderson, Nevada, outside Las Vegas, paying $321,000 for a 4-bedroom on a cul-de-sac block near the 12th hole at Chimera Golf Club.
That's nice living.
Serzicki contributed $123,000 to the pension fund. After 5 years of retirement, he had already collected $303,000. Wow. Over 30 years, he will collect $3.62 million.
That's fraudulent.
123 in. You want to talk about fairness? You want to talk about how Democrats and political ruling class Republicans care about the little guy, about the middle-income family, about minority families in places that have been decimated by property taxes like the Southland? Yeah. I want to hear the argument. Please, tell me about it. Tell me how much you care. Go talk to your local state legislator, your local feudal lord in Chicago, and listen to them tell you how much they care.
But honestly, how could you even, with a good conscience, accept that kind of money?
Because it was the deal. That was the deal that the politicians struck. So, again, I'm not blaming people for trying to maximize their income, but this is a Ponzi scheme, and Ponzi schemes end badly. They always end, and the longer they go on, the more... the worse the end is, and everybody gets hammered, and some people get hammered more than others.
Well, what will Mike Madigan's pension look like? I mean, politicians, is theirs about the same? I'm just...
Pat Quinn paid in $200,000.
Yeah.
Cobbled together 20 years in office. Get, north of $3 million back.
$3 million?
Charles Jackson, 66, worked 20 years for the Harvey Fire Department. Rising to deputy fire chief, retired in 2003 at the age of 51, started collecting his pension, then took a new job as fire chief of Hazelcrest.
So he's double dipping?
Jackson earned $159,000 in 2017, $110,000 for his work in Hazelcrest, along with $48,000 from his Harvey firefighters pension, which grows at 3% annually, compounding. Jackson contributed $61,700 to the Harvey Pension Fund over his 2 decades of work. He's already collected $640,000, 10x return in retirement from Harvey. And when he retires from Hazelcrest, he'll collect an even larger second pension based on his current salary of $110,000.
That should be illegal. You should not be double dipping.
On and on and on. And if you don't think this is happening in the Tony communities in which some of you live, the middle-income communities in which some of you live, far away from Harvey, far away from the borders, you're wrong. And wirepoints.com is doing an analysis on hundreds of municipalities. We've done it. And this is why you can't make Illinois make sense in terms of cost for quality of life. This is why people are fleeing like it's on fire. This is the basis of this kleptocracy. We all exist as spare parts for the public sector unions and the political ruling class. We are all here to finance these benefit levels, finance their salaries, which are significantly higher than their private sector counterparts, and their retirements, which are exponentially higher than anything anybody in the private sector would see, certainly on a percentage basis. And if you don't get it, then you're going to continue to get it. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Danley's in Northbrook.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump naming new members of the Federal Reserve, Keystone Pipeline opening its checkbook for landowners, and a Chinese firm sanctioned. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Jack from Banyan Hill. You might have heard about that $34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks126.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks126.com.
President Trump selecting 2 more members of the Federal Reserve Board, Columbia University professor Richard Clarida and Michelle Bowman, bank commissioner for Kansas, will fill 2 vacancies on the 7-member Fed. The Commerce Department now blocking giant Chinese telecommunications firm ZTE Corporation from access to imported American components for the next 7 years. ZTE paid an almost $2 billion fine for violating U.S. sanctions against shipping telecommunications equipment to both North Korea and Iran. The developer of the Keystone XL pipeline about to start visits to landowners along its proposed route through Nebraska, South Dakota, and Montana, with potential financial officers to buy the land the pipeline will cross. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Building owners and managers. When it comes to maintaining the value of your commercial, industrial, or institutional building, there will be roof repairs or replacements for you to deal with. When you're looking for a good roofing contractor, search the ChicagoRoofing.org website for Chicagoland's best roofing contractors for repairs, replacements, or new construction. And you can check out their innovative roofing work also. All contractors at ChicagoRoofing.org proudly employ members of Roofers Union Local 11 who have undergone 5 years of rigorous training at the country's leading school for roofing, the Chicagoland Roofers Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. ChicagoRoofing.org contractors are at the top of their game and provide Chicagoland's best value for the best roofs all year long. Building owners and managers, you will have roof repairs or replacements to deal with. It's inevitable. Go to ChicagoRoofing.org. That's ChicagoRoofing.org.
I'm Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Game show idea. Comey, Corey, or Christian. I'm going to read a series of passages, and you tell me which was said or written by former FBI Director Jim Comey, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, or 50 Shades of Grey protagonist Christian Grey. Let's begin. I want you to know that nothing has happened in the last year to change my view. Boy, those were the words I needed to hear. I know. And the East Coast loves you, and by the East Coast, I mean me. Do you think gay sex is a perversion? We lie there, panting together, waiting for our breathing to slow. He gently strokes my hair. Boy, I survived. That wasn't so bad. He was not going to get a hug without being a whole lot stronger than he looked. He wasn't. He holds out his hand, and in his palm are 2 shiny silver balls linked with a thick black thread. As he extended his hand, I made a mental note to check its size. It was smaller than mine, but did not seem unusually so. Look out, E.L. James. Jim Comey and Cory Booker are coming for you.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by, making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a large portion of your debt now. Visit ndrnow.com. That's ndrnow.com. Go now to ndrnow.com. ndrnow.com.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. If you're like most folks, this time of year, the credit card debt really starts to add up. Ryan was telling me about a loan that can help you get rid of the credit card debt.
Absolutely. It's a cash-out refinance, and it's one of the favorite loans that we do here at thehomeloanexpert.com. It's just as easy as a normal refinance. We'll get you the lower rate, drop the payment and all that, but we'll also get you the cash you need to pay off the credit card. Stop making those greedy credit card companies rich. Month after month, you make the payments, the balances don't come down. Maybe you get really good and you pay them down, but it seems like something pops up and they're right back up. It almost makes you scared to go to the mailbox. If you're a homeowner, know this. Home values all around Chicagoland are skyrocketing. You have a lot of equity. Your home is worth a lot more than it was just a year ago. Let's do a refinance, get the cash out, and pay off all those credit cards once and for all. I'm Ryan Kelly. I truly am the home loan expert. Apply for your cash out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been taking this probably about 2 years. I haven't had a cold or the flu since. I know it works. It does work. I'm one of those individuals. I own my own company. I run like a nut, so I don't have the time to sit down and have the fruits and the vegetables and everything like that for dinners and all that stuff. So it's a tried and true product. I believe in it. I can safely say, have not had a cold, have not had a flu. I do believe in it. I do believe it works. I do, I know the vegetables and the fruits and all that stuff is the best for you, and this is a great way to get it, and it's natural and it works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
It's still hard to tell the difference between Congressman Todd Rokita and Congressman Luke Messer. Rokita and Messer are two career politicians, and for nearly 30 years, they've lived on the taxpayer dole. 30 years! They're both lawyers who never practiced, and their records in Congress are the same too. In Washington, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer voted to fast-track Obama's bad trade deals, to add $500 billion to our debt, and even to fund liberal priorities like Obama's executive amnesty, not to mention funding for abortion provider Planned Parenthood. In fact, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer have voted the exact same way in Congress 95% of the time. It's true. This election, remember, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer are the same. They're two career politicians, and they're wrong for Indiana.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
They still don't know exactly what the FBI seized from President Trump's personal lawyer. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Prosecutors have not gotten a look, nor has Michael Cohen, who was in court a week after the FBI raids.
The judge denied Cohen's motion for a temporary restraining order to keep investigators from going through the seized documents, saying the matter is moot because the government has agreed not to access the documents for now. Instead, the decision was made to have the government make copies of all physical and electronic documents to give to Cohen's attorney.
That's Fox's Laura Engel outside the court in New York. A deputy was shot in Harris County, Texas early this morning. He's stable but needed surgery. The gunman was also shot and wounded. Syria claimed early today it was attacked again. Then state TV called that a false alarm. Following the U.S. airstrikes over the reported deadly chemical attack, Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, as UN inspectors continue to wait for access to the site of the suspected attack in the town of Douma, France joining the US and saying it's essential this team is allowed in. Russia said yesterday that the experts were missing a permit, but it says they can visit tomorrow. The French Foreign Ministry striking a pessimistic tone, saying it's likely proof of any attack has disappeared. Syria did fire off air defense missiles overnight after reports of another incoming attack, but it was a false alarm. Dave?
Simon, the Supreme Court hears a case this morning that could affect online shopping and businesses that don't charge sales taxes in states where they don't have a location.
Many online retailers like home goods company Wayfair can avoid charging the tax. Larger companies like Macy's, Target, and Walmart with stores in most states do collect sales tax online. A couple of years ago, South Dakota passed a law requiring online sellers to collect sales tax in its state, a law the state can't enforce without a win at the Supreme Court.
Fox's Jared Halpert. It's tax deadline day. You have to put a return or an extension. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
We have sunshine this early morning, 30 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A high-ranking Chicago police officer and a lieutenant are accused of engineering a scheme that provided free parking for off-duty cops at the United Center. City's Inspector General releasing a report yesterday saying a deputy chief and a lieutenant executed the preferential parking scheme during Bulls and Blackhawks games. The city taking another look at a couple of anti-gun violence measures, one already on the books and one under consideration. AM 560's David Stewart was at Chicago's City Hall.
Alderman Ed Burke is holstering his plan to force banks doing business with the city to help fight gun violence. A banking industry spokesman testified that the courts would frown on city plans to force banks to prove that their other clients don't allow unrestricted gun sales if they want to do business with the city. Burke chose not to call a vote on that proposal. Meanwhile, the city is expected to modify its new ban on wearing body armor to allow journalists and TV and film actors to wear the gear. And they'll put the whole ordinance on hold while a statewide ban is considered. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Mayor Emanuel touting his ambitious plan to transform Chicago's riverfront park spaces.
The work we are doing today will ensure that the lakefront will be open, accessible, and enjoyable for all Chicagoans across all parts of the city for generations to come.
It's part of Phase 2 of the Building on Burnham initiative. Specifically, the plan calls for expanding the Riverwalk east of State Street so it's a continuous stretch all the way to the lake. Yesterday's Cubs-Cardinals series opener at Wrigley postponed due to inclement weather. They'll try again tonight. A's over the White Sox 8-1 in Oakland. And the news is a service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only, ends 6/23. Exclusions apply at Staples. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Your yard is not just a yard. It's a baseball diamond, a water park, a movie theater, and a grand banquet hall. Your yard is where memories are made, and you have the best seat in the house with the John Deere X350 Select Series tractor. Now equipped with the exclusive one-touch mulch control system, you can tell your clippings where to go, out the chute, or back into your lawn with just the push of a button. Nothing runs like family, and nothing runs like a Deere. Visit your local John Deere dealer to test drive one today.
Are we ready to open next month?
I think so.
You think so?
Well, it's complicated. Fire protection, first aid supplies, uniforms, safety training, mat services, oh, and restroom supplies.
So uncomplicated. Call Cintas. They'll handle all of it.
Wow, one company can handle all that? That's not very complicated.
So, you'll be ready?
Oh, we'll be ready. Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday.
Visit Cintas.com.
.706 on AM 560. It is time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Also time to check the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Mike, eastbound I-80 is really bottled up now from I-55 to Larkin. There's a crash there in the left lane. Edens runs 31 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 23 to Kennedy. Already 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 35 from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Outbound 24 minutes to Montrose and 40 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown. 44 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 38 minutes to 390. Inbound Stevenson, delay start at Weber. It's an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 41 minutes. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop 426. Northbound Tri-State slow, 111th to 87th. 75th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. It's on Reagan Tollway, stop and go 22nd to the Tri-State. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partly sunny day, high 43. Some clouds tonight, low 31. Tomorrow, breezy with occasional rain, high 42. Then breezy with occasional snow and flurries, mainly early tomorrow night, accumulating a coating to an inch, mainly on non-paved surfaces with a low of 33. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
28 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And the more you look at this complicated picture in Syria, the more I'm persuaded, at least by what Jeffrey Sachs had to say, particularly given some of our conversations with policy experts in this space on Syria, Amy, where you have them conceding that we are continuing to pursue this hybrid strategy, they generously call it, that we've been pursuing for 7 years. We're not trying to engage in regime change, but we're trying to defend the red line that Obama drew.
We're trying to defend innocent civilians who are being gassed.
And the net of this is what? 500,000 dead, 10 million displaced. Jeffrey Sachs, Columbia University professor and advisor to the UN on Morning Joe, talking about Trump's instincts on Syria were right in the first place before he got persuaded by the permanent state.
This is a U.S. mistake that started 7 years ago. And I remember the day on your show when President Obama said, Assad must go. And I looked at you and Joe and I said, how's he going to do that? Where's the policy for that?
Right.
And we know they sent in the CIA to overthrow Assad. The CIA and Saudi Arabia together in covert operations tried to overthrow Assad. It was a disaster. Eventually it brought in both ISIS as a splinter group to the jihadists that went in. It also brought in Russia. So we have been digging deeper and deeper and deeper. What we should do now is get out and not continue to throw missiles, not have a confrontation with Russia. 7 years has been a disaster under Obama, continuing under Trump. This is what I would call the permanent state. This is the CIA, this is Pentagon, wanting to keep Iran and Russia out of Syria, but no way to do that. And so we have made a proxy war in Syria. It's killed 500,000 people, displaced 10 million. And I'll say predictably so, because I predicted it 7 years ago that there was no way to do this and that it would make a complete chaos. So what I would plead to President Trump is get out. Like his instinct told him, by the way. That was his instinct. But then all the establishment, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Pentagon, everybody said, no, that's irresponsible. But his instinct is right. Get out.
For reaction and insight on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined again by David French. He is a writer at National Review, constitutional lawyer, author, and also a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom. David, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, by the way, you were in Chicago last week for the Buckley event, right?
Yes, I was.
How did that go?
Where it went from about 70 degrees to about 40.
Oh, welcome to our
Just
world.
a few hours.
Exactly. That's why everybody's moving to Franklin, Tennessee to be near you, David.
That's right.
So what about what Jeffrey Sachs had to say about the Syrian situation and your reaction to the strike on those 3 chemical facilities on Friday night?
Well, first on the strike, I think it was unconstitutional and ineffective. Unconstitutional in the sense that you're striking a sovereign country without a vote by Congress. That's an act of war. Only Congress has the ability to declare war under our Constitution. Ineffective in that, what you're doing is you're just giving Assad pinpricks. I mean, he's lost tens of thousands of troops over the course of this war. And besides, his main striking power rests in Russia and Iran anyway. It does nothing to him. It's a gesture it's more like a temper tantrum with cruise missiles. So I thought that was ineffective and unconstitutional. As far as the rest of the policy, I have to disagree strongly with Jeffrey Sachs. We have carved out a part of Syria in the north with the aid of our allies that is stabilizing at this very moment, that has suppressed ISIS. And if you get out, as Sachs says, what you do is you create a power vacuum. You create a power vacuum in the same way that Obama did when he got out of Iraq in 2011. And when you create that power vacuum, you always have to ask, who fills it? Who fills the power vacuum? And right now, ISIS is suppressed, but not completely gone. The likely candidates for filling that power vacuum are all of them enemies of the United States. And what you do is you abandon your allies. You abandon allies who have fought beside your own troops, who have bled and died in large numbers. This was a war in northern Syria, remember, where America did not commit large numbers of troops. Where these guys fought hard with our support, and then to pull away from them at this moment would be a betrayal of the highest order that would benefit Iran, benefit Russia, potentially benefit the remnants of ISIS. I just don't think that's in American national interest.
So let me just understand, though, what you're suggesting we do. So American troops, in conjunction with the Turks, continue to eradicate ISIS in northern Syria, but are we to push on to Damascus and depose Assad?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, not at all. This is not a war against Assad. This is a war against ISIS. Okay. So what people have to realize is that Assad left the war against ISIS to us. A lot of people, there's some misinformation out there that says that Russia and Assad also fought ISIS. Maybe a little bit. But they mainly fought the domestic rebels that were our allies. And they left the fight against ISIS to us. And so what would happen if you unilaterally withdraw is you give away your biggest bargaining chip in any sort of permanent peace settlement in Syria. So, no, I don't think you try to depose Assad. I think that, Assad has won his civil war. He has essentially, he's now essentially in control of the major populated areas of Syria. There are a few little pockets left. I mean, he's won. He has Russian help. He has Iranian help. You don't try to undo the results of that war. Sometimes people win wars, and that has an effect.
Right,
but we've also won our war in northern Syria, and you don't unwin that war. You don't recreate the Obama mistake of 2011.
But what if Assad continues to use his chemical weapons? I mean, they said they denied it, but we have UN weapons inspectors there on the ground. They have been since Saturday, and they've been not allowed to get into that site in Douma. They said that they can come by Wednesday or Thursday, and by that time, all the evidence will be cleaned up.
I have to say, I think the use of chemical weapons is unconscionable. So is carpet bombing civilians. So is barrel bombing civilians. So is shooting them, rounding them up and shooting them. I mean, 500,000 people have died. There have been mass murder after mass murder in this war. One of the things that I think is actually happening is that Assad's incentive to use chemical weapons is winding down, in part because his war is winding down. This idea that we're not going to intervene when 2,000 civilians die in carpet bombings, we are going to intervene when 50 civilians die in a chemical attack, I think to me seems to be a little bit odd. The civilians who are killed in carpet bombings and cluster bombings and barrel bombings are just as dead as the civilians killed by chemical attacks. The problem is when you do that, when you're doing what we're doing, there's no real strategy there. It's a tit for tat, and what happens is when the world's most powerful country takes a swing at somebody and the person lives, when you strike a dictator and the dictator survives, you're often not deterring that dictator. You're often emboldening the dictator. And if you're going to hit this dictator hard enough to really hurt him, well, then you have to hit the Russians and the Iranians because they're the root of his power. And we're not ready for that. The American people are not ready for a conflict with Russia over Syria. So there are military realities on the ground that dictate that he's won his war. And if we're going to take on a sovereign nation like that, we got to go to Congress and we got to explain a strategy, and you got to justify to the American people the risks of a great power conflict. And Trump hasn't done that. He can't really do that.
I want to switch gears. I know you wrote on the topic of Jim Comey, but I wonder if you were as specifically moved by the poignant recollection of his last flight on the FBI's private plane and the last Jim Beam and Coke he'll have on that plane.
At the wet bar, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that Jim Comey really admires Jim Comey.
Right.
Enough about me. What do you think of me?
No, it's David. Now, just point of order on that. He was asked by Stephanopoulos if he ever thought his own sense of his virtue got in the way, and he reflected on that and concluded it did not. So that's case closed.
Case closed. Yeah, one of the things that was really interesting about that interview, and I wrote about this, was that so he talks about how the FBI was in a no-win position, which in a lot of ways is true. When the two major parties nominate two candidates who richly deserve FBI investigations, it puts the FBI in a tough spot. But then he said, here's what we need to do is we need to look at the law and we need to look at the facts, which is the right answer. But then he spent the rest of the time talking about how he looked at things that weren't the law and he looked at things that weren't the facts. So he talked about the Hillary Clinton email investigation, and he talked about how he did not apply the actual law. He talked about how he applied a different legal standard, one that doesn't exist, a higher legal standard that allowed her to escape a charging recommendation from the FBI. And then when he talked about how he held these unprecedented news conferences and issued his unprecedented letter, that he was considering things like, the public credibility of the FBI. Well, that's not the law, that's not the facts. He did not apply the law to the facts, and that was the original sin here of the Hillary Clinton email investigation.
Is the big takeaway of this guy? He's just a political animal, and like all the other political animals in D.C., he doesn't have principles. He has interests, and so as his interests move, so do his principles.
I think, like a lot of people, he began to look at the health of his institution, the FBI, as his principal job. And that's shown through in the interview, that time and time again, he's looking out for the credibility of the FBI, the credibility of the FBI. And you know how the FBI builds its credibility? By applying the law to the facts. That's how the FBI builds its credibility, not by looking out for itself. And that's the thing that really stuck out to me, was how much he was looking out for the FBI. And that's not the FBI's job. And that's why it was, I think, the interview with Stephanopoulos was a disaster for him.
He is David French. He's a writer at National Review. The latest piece on Comey, James Comey, confirms once again that he failed America in 2016. You can find it at nationalreview.com. Constitutional lawyer, author, veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom. David, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, breaking news about Bozo Buckets. And later, an American woman wins the Boston Marathon. First time in 33 years. We did really well yesterday. And we'll tell you why, because there is a secret. It's called the weather. But first, here is your weather forecast for today. It's going to be partly sunny, but very windy out there and cold. A high of 43 degrees. Our average high this time of year is in the mid-50s. So we're missing the mark on that. Tonight, a low of 31. And tomorrow, well, we're going to have some rain that might turn into snow for a little bit. Good times and a high of 42. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Amy, you won't be winning the grand prize game on eastbound I-80 this morning. It's a solid mess. I-55 to Larkin Avenue in Joliet. There's a crash there blocking the left lane. Westbound side is clear. Edens is 31 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 27. Kennedy, 58 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 46. The Eisenhower's an hour and 3 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound 40 minutes. Stevenson an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 41 minutes. Ryan 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford now 40 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State delays from 111th most of the way to 31st, and from the Reagan till the way to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Veterans Memorial slow now, 75th most of the way to St. Charles, and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Homeowners often say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room getting wet, do you? Then why would you want to worry about your basement? Permaseal believes that your basement should be dry all of the time, no matter how hard it rains. That's right, you can have a permanently dry basement. So give Permaseal a call at 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate and transferable warranty, so you can rest assured you're getting the best value. You know, back in 1979, Roy Spencer started Permaseal, and it's still a local Chicagoland business whose purpose is to make the world a better place, one basement or crawl space at a time. Your basement is already dry some of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal at 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Ever hire a plumber at an odd time for an emergency? The hourly rate could send you into cardiac arrest. It'd be nice to have someone on call 24/7 for those once every few year emergencies, but probably not necessary. Now your business is IT? That's a completely different story. The potential for problems if your IT system isn't properly maintained could be more than those once every few year plumbing backups. For peace of mind, turn to Turnkey IT. Their monthly support contracts will keep your business's computer systems online and running well. No more waiting for an hourly IT tech to get back to you and charging you an enormous after-hours rate. The certified pros at Turnkey will keep your business's computer system online with unlimited on-site and remote support. And for a limited time, you can save up to $500 a month on a support contract, plus unlimited cloud backup at no cost. Get the secure feeling your business backbone is supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, well, my whole life, I had no idea that anyone in my family had ever attended Bozo Buckets. But during the segment when we were talking about how you got chosen for the grand prize game and your cousin went down instead, I received a text message from my sister, Chrissy, saying that she went to Bozo Buckets back when she was in 6th grade with Aunt Linda, that she slept over at Grandma Ruth's house the night before and they left early in the morning for the show. Now,
Grandma Ruth.
Grandma Ruth, I know. I thought she was sick that day because they didn't invite me because they can only invite one. So Sophie's choice, they chose my sister over me to go to Bozo Buckets and possibly participate in the grand prize game.
It's time for the grand prize game! Yeah!
She didn't get picked, but she did have an encounter with Cookie the Clown. And Cookie the Clown asked my sister, ready? This could be a Me Too movement. You decide. Me Too moment, excuse me. Cookie the Clown asked my sister if she was related to Cheryl Ladd. Inappropriate.
That's not inappropriate.
Yeah, she said she was laughing. I mean, he went up to her and was like, hey, are you related to Cheryl Ladd?
Who was asking her?
Cookie the Clown.
Well, who is that?
I don't know. Was that Cookie the Clown? What did Cookie the Clown sound like?
Not that.
Okay. But I mean, can you imagine if you're in 6th
grade
grade and a clown comes up to you and says, hey, are you related to Cheryl Ladd? And he's wearing clown makeup? A little creepy. That's how the Creepy the Clown got started, you know?
Yeah, a real it moment.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Watch your stormage drains. Yes.
All right. Now I can't get to Silicon Valley because we had to endure
Why?
that story. I apologize to the listeners out there, and including for that Cookie the Clown impersonation. We will not let Amy do any more impersonations of Bozo and Friends. I promise you that.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The more Jim Comey talks, the more status he loses among his former colleagues at FBI. We'll talk to one of them, Ron Hosko, former FBI Assistant Director, at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and catch up on news from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 31 degrees, cloudy skies, west winds at 11. This morning, 2 Democratic lawmakers are calling on Fox News to take action or suspend or fire host Sean Hannity. This after it was revealed yesterday in court that Hannity may have been a client, or at least attached to, President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Representative Jackie Speer was first to tweet out that Hannity should be put on leave immediately. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments today in an internet sales tax case. The case focuses on businesses collecting sales tax from online purchases. Under a decades-old Supreme Court ruling, businesses do not have to collect state sales tax if they are shipping a product to a state where they do not have an office, warehouse, or other physical presence. The manager of a Philadelphia Starbucks who called 911 on two black men has been moved out of a job. The coffee giant confirmed yesterday the employee is no longer working at that Philadelphia Starbucks as a result of the incident. Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson posted an apology video online.
These two gentlemen did not deserve what happened, and we are accountable.
A viral video shows the two men, both real estate agents, being cuffed and taken away from the shop last week as they waited for a third person, another broker, to show up. A Michigan man is accused of sexually assaulting a woman at a Chicago Loop hotel over the weekend. Tyler Wilkin appeared in court yesterday. His bail set at $100,000. A retired West Aurora math teacher facing child pornography charges has been found dead, apparently after shooting himself. Robert James's body was found over the weekend in a field in Aurora. The discovery was made 2 months after he did not show up to a February court date on child pornography charges. Chicago sports, yesterday's series opener between the Cubs and Cardinals at Wrigley, postponed due to inclement weather. A's over the White Sox 8-1 in Oakland. Bears begin voluntary veteran minicamp today at Hallis Hall. Japan's Yuki Kawuchi won the men's Boston Marathon and was the overall winner of the event in just under 2 hours and 16 minutes yesterday. Desiree Linden of Michigan was the women's winner of the Boston Marathon, 2 hours, 39 minutes. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on a huge selection of ink, paper, and the latest printers. Now at Staples, get 50% off the HP OfficeJet Pro 6900 series this week only at Staples, your total printing solution. While supplies last, valid on SKU 225-6781, ends 4/21. 7:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains what secularism does to a society.
The famous quote from the end of the 19th century is, when people stop believing in God, they don't believe in nothing, they believe in anything, because wisdom begins with fear of God. Sorry, secularists out there, you are guaranteed a dumb society when you get rid of God and the Bible.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
It is 6:34. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, the very latest this morning, with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delay started Devon. It's 31 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy, an hour and 4 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 32 minutes from Montrose, 34 in the Express. Outbound 46 minutes to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown. 44 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 40 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. Bryan is 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State. So 111th to 75th. From Stevenson to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Reagan Tollway slow 31 to Eola, at 83 to the Tri-State. Eastbound I-80 jammed I-55 to Larkin. Crash in the left lane. Traffic service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples. Spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only. N623. Exclusions apply. Staples. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny and chilly, a high of 42. Some clouds overnight, still very cold, low 30. Breezy cold with occasional rain, maybe some snow. High 41 tomorrow. Thursday, partly sunny, high of 47, and will be 51 and partly sunny on Friday. Currently 29 at O'Hare, 31 along the lake. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy back at Danley's in Northbrook, where we're broadcasting part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour, and talking a little bit about Jim Comey and the reactions that are coming in to his interview with Clinton Foundation Donor Zero on Sunday night, talking to David French from National Review about that. And the thing that strikes me, the reactions from career FBI, even people that were inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt, that didn't like the way that he was fired by Trump, that had fond memories of working for him. So many of those individuals are now joining the chorus of people who think essentially Comey has jumped the shark, that he has gone way too far in self-promotion and self-aggrandizement and self-interest at the expense of the agency.
Yeah,
And
he gave up his oath to respect the agency and to remain silent. You don't deal with past issues and current issues while you're an FBI agent.
Jim Gagliano saying, CNN law enforcement analyst saying the other day that
he was
seeing the diminution of a 6'8" man into a Lilliputian. Jack Garcia, 25-year veteran of the FBI, said this man has tarnished the position, that position, FBI director, by offering positions and attacking the President of the United States. It was, quote, insane, unquote, for the former FBI director to offer an opinion on whether the Russian government had compromising information on Trump, just as one more example. Chris Wecker has an op-ed at Fox News, 24-year FBI veteran, taking him to task on those and many other issues. So let's get more insights from this community. And for that, we're pleased to be joined by Ron Hosko, who is a former FBI Assistant Director, now President of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to be with you guys.
What was your reaction to the Comey interview?
Well, you know, I think I know Comey a little bit differently than some of the folks you just mentioned. I did have the opportunity to work with and for him before I retired. And so I kind of had I guess a front row seat to Jim Comey, the person, as opposed to, I think, the Jim Comey set off in a distance who's writing a book now. And so in my mind, I separate those two things. I really enjoyed working with Jim Comey. I thought he was a refreshing change. He's what the Bureau needed at the time. He was incredibly gifted as a speaker, someone who could put together speeches that were compelling, personally warm. You know, it was hard not to like him personally, and I think every employee that he touched kind of felt that you know, it's about me, not about him. There was a personal affection and warmth that it was felt throughout the workforce. That being said, and I am certainly among those who were offended by the way that he was fired by Trump, you know, which I thought was completely undignified and despicable. However, now we are less than a year later, and he has this book out. And I think, like a lot of other voices, look, I think that I don't know who his book is going to appeal to, because the country is so divided. Those who are full-on Trump supporters see whatever Comey says as a lie and a betrayal. Those who are full-on Hillary supporters think he turned the election and destroyed her presidency in its infancy, and so there's a I guess maybe a narrow swath in the middle that Comey sees as folks who are still capable of separating political views from with reason, that maybe he can appeal to and say, my judgments were apolitical and reasonable.
Well, but, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you take an oath to keep matters private? And when you become an FBI agent, that you don't talk about pending investigations that you were a part of that are still going on, especially against the president, and then your past work that you've done.
Well, there's some nuances to that. First, you take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and you do sign. I'm sure I did way back a non-disclosure agreement that basically prohibits you from disclosing sensitive, ongoing case information, and mostly FBI agents aren't going to talk about prior cases either. They're talked about in court as hearings are held or as trials are held. So there is that sensitivity concern, and my supposition is I'm sure Jim Comey had this book go through pre-publication review by DOJ to say, okay, there's nothing so sensitive that it cannot be revealed in the way the book reveals it. And it sounds as though he's taken some steps not to reveal some of those inner workings on hundreds of thousands and thousands of cases that the FBI has ongoing.
Let's go back to his judgment. Yeah, but let's go back to his judgment calls though. David French, who we just spoke with, made the point, and he makes the point in his piece in National Review, that Comey lays out the standard that is supposed to be applied, the facts and the rule of law, the facts and what the law says. And then he proceeds to explain to Stephanopoulos, as he did to some extent to Congress, how he brought in considerations other than the facts and the law, and in terms of the Hillary investigation, and now with respect to his reviews of the Trump investigation. So, address that in terms of how well he served the agency and by extension the American people.
Well, I think that's to Amy's point as well. Here he is. He's no longer the FBI director. He's a book writer, and he's trying to sell books. And my supposition is that what sells books is salacious conflict. It is his own personal subjective views and sentiments. It's not the facts and the law. He's certainly drifted outside of that. And frankly, I think that's where he finds himself in trouble with a lot of current and former FBI agents who think that, and I am among them in this regard, that is beneath the dignity of the position that he held just a year ago. I think in a lot of ways it's beneath Jim Comey himself, who I see as an ethical and moral man. I think it's beneath him. And it is, frankly, the slippery slope of doing interviews like the Stephanopoulos interview and others that I guess he's doing this week, where he's going to be asked charged, loaded questions, and he's going to have to figure out, do I answer this, or do I let it hang like he did about the allegation about Russian prostitutes in a hotel room, where he says, I can't rule it out because he doesn't know the facts, but he's still entertaining the question. And I think all of those areas that seem like they are tinged with revenge, they are beneath the dignity of the position, are very, very troubling to the current and the former workforce, because at the end of the day, he carries those three little letters around with him that mark us all, that we all carry around with us, whether you're a current or a former employee. And the risk is that the public judges us all by his acts, by his words now, as the no longer FBI director. I think it diminishes the organization.
What about
that part's disappointing.
What about the no longer deputy director, Andy McCabe, and that report issued by Horowitz, the Inspector General for the FBI, which details a pattern of lying to further his interests, perhaps his wife's political interests at the expense of the agency's interests. Lying to the FBI, that's a crime if you're a civilian. Should Andy McCabe be prosecuted criminally?
Well, first, I read the report on Friday. I was very interested in the contents of it, as I am in the future report that comes out about the Hillary investigation. I want to see the details. And now I've seen the details, and I think that the Inspector General makes a very, very strong case that Andy lied intentionally with a purpose on multiple occasions, and he suffered the fate that other agents and support employees have suffered in the past, which is you're subject to termination for that sort of activity. And so it is very disappointing when you see FBI senior leadership. And look, we're going to see it again. We're going to see it with Strzok and Page and the text messages. That criticism is going to, I'm sure, resurface with an Inspector General report. We'll see what the sanction becomes. But these things coalescing at the highest levels of the FBI are very, very disappointing for me, and disturbing certainly for a knowing and observant public, because it gives some voice to the notion that there's a deep state up there, there's political or self-serving shenanigans taking place. And so, I don't envy Chris Wray, because he's got to rebuild his top-level management team. I think he's doing that, and I think he's trying to keep the FBI off the radar to some extent with all this activity. I think he's being deliberately low-key. Good for him. But it's disappointing that to see that in black and white about the number 2 guy in the FBI. And I fear there's a bit more to come about this as well.
What about criminal prosecution, lying to the FBI, or is he above the law?
No, it's not above the law. So here's how the FBI approaches that, and the Inspector General, I think, early on in these inquiries, and these inquiries, you saw the movements behind the FBI's inspection division in that report. So they're the first ones to start to conduct an inquiry. And generally speaking, this sort of activity, first they're going to look to what was leaked. If it was sensitive national security information, it'd be one thing, and potentially subject to prosecution. Here, a self-serving leak of this nature, where it's about a criminal case, it's not actually sensitive information about the case, it's about the relationship between FBI and DOJ. I don't see that as criminal, and I'm sure as the inspectors are approaching the deputy director for an interview, or the Inspector General is, they've already assessed that this is an administrative, i.e. personnel matter, not a criminal matter. They're going to give him a warning, a waiver of rights that he's compelled to sign, that basically says you must talk to us. And in doing so, you're basically giving up your Fifth Amendment protections. You
so
don't
he's
have the right
indemnified
to
from
remain
criminal
silent.
Prosecution, right?
That's right. And so you can't use his statement against him, or his statements against him, in a subsequent prosecution. I just don't see this as being prosecutable. But Andy McCabe got a pretty severe sentence. He was fired from the FBI 26 hours before he was eligible to retire.
Well, don't you agree that he should have been fired, though? I mean, at the very least.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I think that other personnel are fired for lack of candor. It's one of those things. Louis Freeh back in the 90s established what was known as the Bright Line policy, and there were 2 things that he made it very clear to the entire workforce: you can expect to be fired. Lack of candor was one of those 2. The other one was drinking and driving. And so we knew then that the minimum drinking age for FBI agents was 57. That's when you could retire. Yeah.
He is,
well said.
He is Ron Hoskow, former FBI Assistant Director and President for the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Spring is here. It's Amy Jacobson, and I suggest you add this to your spring cleaning. Throw out that old flat pillow and buy your very own new MyPillow. Not only will it keep its shape and adjust to your ideal sleeping position, but you can wash and dry it whenever you want. And yes, the best MyPillow 4-pack deal is still available. Go online or call now to take advantage of this great deal. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the MyPillow 4-pack deal with 2 premium MyPillows and my favorite, those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. Start spring out right. No more headaches or stiff neck with your hypoallergenic Made in America MyPillow with its 10-year warranty plus that 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the MyPillow 4-pack today. Call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I used to have a sore back every day when I get up out of bed. It was a struggle. That's gone. Joints, be it my shoulder, my ankles, knees, were always troublesome. I don't have any issues with those. It's really good at helping with your overall physical health.
I would wake up in the morning and I'd go to stretch or something, and my legs would just cramp up, and cramps are killer, when I tell you. Get up and jump on my foot. And since I've been taking these, I don't get those cramps anymore.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
For years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Now that same experience is available for your daughter. With summer vacation right around the corner, now is a great time to register your son or daughter for summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful region of Southwest Wisconsin. It's a time to refocus from the distractions of life and explore the potentials in many areas of life. There's Camp St. John's Northwestern with 4 one-week sessions of outdoor activities for 10 to 16-year-olds. And summer school for 5 weeks to recover credits or get ahead for full credit. Limited registration for co-ed summer camp is happening now, as well as the year-round school application process. Hurry, space is limited. For more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
I'm Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Game show idea. Comey, Corey, or Christian. I'm going to read a series of passages, and you tell me which was said or written by former FBI Director Jim Comey, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, or 50 Shades of Grey protagonist Christian Grey. Let's begin. I want you to know that nothing has happened in the last year to change my view. Boy, those were the words I needed to hear. I know. And the East Coast loves you, and by the East Coast, I mean me. Do you think gay sex is a perversion? We lie there, panting together, waiting for our breathing to slow. He gently strokes my hair. Boy, I survived. That wasn't so bad. He was not going to get a hug without being a whole lot stronger than he looked. He wasn't. He holds out his hand, and in his palm are 2 shiny silver balls linked with a thick black thread. As he extended his hand, I made a mental note to check its size. It was smaller than mine, but did not seem unusually so. Look out, E.L. James. Jim Comey and Cory Booker are coming for you.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Pro-life and a true conservative, Mike Braun is the Christian leader we need in the U.S. Senate. Mike grew up in Jasper, Indiana, and married his high school sweetheart, Maureen. Mike and Maureen came back home after school to raise 4 kids on the same values they grew up on: faith, family, and hard work. 3 of the kids joined the family business, and you'll find the Brauns at church on Sundays. Politicians in Washington have very different values. Let's send Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate to make a difference for us. In Washington, Mike Braun will stand for the right to life, defend traditional family values, and help President Trump confirm strong pro-life judges to the Supreme Court. Christian, pro-life, conservative. Mike Braun for Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and if you're not watching Silicon Valley, you should. It's in season 5. And Mike Judge, who created Beavis and Butthead, he did Office Space, King of the Hill. He's the creator of Silicon Valley as well. And perfect timing, this latest episode on Sunday, which you didn't watch, Amy.
Yes.
Because you're too busy watching Comey. Perfect timing with Zuckerberg's testimony last week to give you parody of Silicon Valley that isn't even parody.
Okay,
because
so
Silicon
they didn't even know
Valley's
that this was coming, and they shot this before the Zuckerberg.
So they're
testimony.
they're doing a new decentralized internet. That's the premise, and they've got a bunch of developers. And one of the developers is a guy who created a gay dating website, but he got outed, but not the way you think.
America loves Christians. Muslims are the enemy.
Well, that's true in most of America, but not in Silicon Valley, sadly.
Sadly?
You can be openly polyamorous, and people here will call you brave. You can put microdoses of LSD in your cereal, and people will call you a pioneer. But the one thing you cannot be is a Christian.
I find their theology to be illegitimate, and it's clear that they are the source of the majority of the world's problems. But Richard, even I wouldn't just out a Christian like that.
Yeah, it was kind of f***ed up.
Cool, man, thanks. Hey, I thought he wasn't supposed to chime in.
Yeah, he's not, but based on its merits, I'll allow that one.
Guys, come on, it can't be that bad.
Richard, what the did you do over there?
So I just got off the phone with Colin over at K-Hole, and while he loves your tech, he's considering blowing up the deal.
What? Just because one of my CEOs is Christian?
It freaks people out in the Valley.
Okay, so what do you want me to do, Monica? You want me to drop DD just because he's Christian? The company's not Christian, it's gay, which is fine, right?
Yeah, no, that plays great.
Look, cutting all ties to Dee Dee and First Sight will definitely send a strong message to Colin. And it might be the only way. Like killing somebody to prove you're not a narc, or showing a John your genitals to prove you're a legitimate male prostitute and not an undercover cop.
Seeking sanctuary from a sanctuary state. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A city in California finalizes its plan to opt out of a sanctuary state law. Amid protests in Los Alamitos last night. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Well, Dave, that unrest came from a 4-1 vote by the Los Alamitos City Council to opt out of the state law. The vote followed a tense 5-hour debate, and it was the required second reading of that ordinance. This woman says she supports it.
Crimes committed on my property by an illegal immigrant, and he was released.
The one councilman who voted against it said the council has no legal authority to approve that ordinance and that it will open up the city to lawsuits. The ACLU has already threatened the city with legal action, saying it is a violation of the city's obligation to follow a state law, Dave.
Tanya, President Trump's just tweeted about California Governor Jerry Brown, accusing the Democrat of not looking for safety and security along the Mexican border. Brown last week joined the Republican governors of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, agreeing to send National Guard troops, but Brown refuses to let them take part in any mission to stop illegal immigration. Later today, President Trump will meet at his Mar-a-Lago resort with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. North Korea, a big issue, weeks before a possible meeting between the president and North Korea's leader.
Japan is saying, listen, stopping North Korea intercontinental ballistic missiles is great, but we have to also look at the short-range missiles, which could very easily strike Tokyo. That, too, will be a part of the conversation.
Fox's Kevin Cork in West Palm Beach, Florida. Texas deputy needed surgery this morning in Harris County, but is stable after he was shot.
Upon deputies arriving, they had a male come out of one of the houses with a rifle, began shooting.
Constable Mark Herman says deputies fired back, also wounding the gunman. Bill Cosby's sex assault retrial is about to resume in Pennsylvania. His accuser's mother will continue testifying. Jonna Constant claims Cosby admitted to her he drugged and molested her daughter, Andrea, and called himself a sick man. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
31 degrees. Skies are mostly cloudy. At 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. A Michigan man is accused of sexually assaulting a woman in a hotel in Chicago's Loop over the weekend. Tyler Wilkin appeared in court yesterday. His bail set at $100,000. The incident happened after the suspect and a woman were out drinking the night before. Chicago aldermen are putting the brakes on a proposal designed to force banks working with the city to help fight gun violence. City Council's Finance Committee put on hold an ordinance yesterday that would ban the city from working with banks whose other clients allow unrestricted gun sales. The move comes after the Illinois Bankers Association called the measure too broad. Police say a Northwest Indiana house fire that killed a 62-year-old woman is now being investigated as a possible arson. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Brenda Poole of Hammond died at a Chicago hospital after being rescued from that fire Saturday. Hammond police yesterday saying the fire is being investigated as possibly being set. Patty Blagojevich very disappointed in the U.S. Supreme Court deciding not to hear her husband, former Governor Rod Blagojevich's appeal of his corruption case. Blagojevich continues to serve a 14-year prison term for his convictions. Chicago sports. Cubs and Cardinals weathered out yesterday. A's over the White Sox 8-1. It's 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, drug and healthcare company Johnson & Johnson is reporting a dramatic improvement in sales, up more than 12% in the recent quarter, helped by strong demand for its cancer drugs. J&J's earnings were stronger than expected. United Health Group also reported an upbeat quarter. It was helped by its healthcare business and its health services business, Optum. Tronc, the parent company of the Chicago Tribune, LA Times, and New York Daily News, could be sold to Japan-based investment firm SoftBank. Tronc is said to be in talks with multiple interested parties. Netflix shares are sharply higher before the Wall Street Open after it signed up nearly 1 million more new subscribers than forecast in the recent quarter. Its earnings were sharply higher. The Dow was up 212 yesterday. NASDAQ gained 49. S&P added 21. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity just wants jobs to stay in America.
That these auto companies are now building their plants, their factories right here in America, and so many are now committing to doing it. I want American-built cars, and I don't care if it's Honda. I don't care if they're building the cars here. and they're American jobs here. That's what I care about.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Your yard is not just a yard. It's a baseball diamond, a water park, a movie theater, and a grand banquet hall. Your yard is where memories are made, and you have the best seat in the house with the John Deere X350 Select Series tractor. Now equipped with the exclusive one-touch mulch control system, you can tell your clippings where to go, out the chute, or back into your lawn with just the push of a button. Nothing runs like family, and nothing runs like a Deere. Visit your local John Deere dealer to test drive one today.
Let's see here. Fire protection?
Check.
Uniforms, mats, and restroom products?
Check.
First aid cabinets and safety products?
Check.
Great! So it sounds like we're ready to go.
No. When I said check, I meant we still need to check on all those things.
Oh, just call Cintas. They can handle all of it. It's what they do.
Okay. Call Cintas. Check. I mean, got it.
Oh, I'm ready! Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Reagan Tollway westbound. It's heavy from 355 to before Naperville Road, where crash cleared, and eastbound the delays are from Randall all the way to Naperville and 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial's jam from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, North Avenue to 290. Northbound a jam, Army Trail to St. Charles. Edens runs 24 minutes, Lake Cook Junction outbound 30. Kennedy, an hour and 16 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 48 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound 47 minutes to O'Hare. On Eisenhower's an hour 16 from 390 to the Circle. 54 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 52 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive delays are from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, high 43. Tonight, some clouds, low 31. Tomorrow, breezy and cold, occasional rain, high 42. Snow and flurries tomorrow night with a low 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine and 31 at O'Hare, 32 along Chicago's Great Lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Build business with Chamber 630, one of the largest business organizations in DuPage County. Marketing your business and connecting clients is their priority. Visit chamber630.com or call 630-968-4050 to join today.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're coming to you live from Danley's in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. Actually, the last stop on our 2018 AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. So we're doing it at an iconic brand in Chicago. You know Danley's.
Danley, building your garage with quality. Depend on Danley. That's why we're number one.
Call Danley now. Dial garages 427-2437.
Oh my gosh!
And we're pleased to
before
be...
there were even area codes. Remember?
I wonder if that number still works. We'll ask Uday, our friend here, who's the president of Danley's Garages, family owned and operated since 1959. So celebrate your 60th anniversary next year. Uday Kedkar, am I saying that right?
Correct.
Is the president, and he joins us now. Uday, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great, Dan, Amy, thanks for having us.
And for hosting us.
Thank you.
So, you got any new jingles you want to try out?
Yeah, I was worried. I knew you were going to resurrect one from the past there. Yeah. Some are in the works.
Are they?
I can't share them just yet, but they
are
they
they in the
works.
key of G?
I'm trying to keep you,
Well, so you came over from Feldco, and we'll get to that in a second, but this is a recent acquisition, Danley is, and Kind of tell us the state of this iconic brand in Chicago and what you're trying to do to maybe put a fresh coat of paint on it, so to speak, for the 21st century.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, Danley's is the brand is an institution in Chicago. So we've built over 100,000 garages in almost 60 years. I was telling Dan earlier, I did the math. If you were driving a car 60 miles an hour, it would take you 8 hours to pass 100,000 garages.
Wow.
It's almost 500 miles. It's pretty crazy. When you
So
think
you're an
about it.
accomplished company, but back in the day, what you'd mentioned that you built 4,000 garages a year, and
Correct.
that has decreased. And
Correct. And I think it went up and down, but back in 1979, you remember the blizzard of 79?
Oh, yeah.
I think you had a little bit of an external event there where you just had a ton. I think they got 21 inches of snow in 2 days, and so you had a lot of garages failing because of, older building construction practices, but also just too much snow and too much weight. So we acquired the company about a year ago. It's running at about 1,000 garages a year. We're having a pretty spectacular year this year.
That's great.
And so, what is the game plan to kind of get back to your Cubs pregame leadoff man commercials and the status you had in the city?
Correct. Well, it kind of starts with the customer. The past year, so we acquired it February 1st of last year. We've spent the last year really kind of honing the all the systems and all the processes that we have in place to track the customer experience. And that's really the start. You have to just service your customer well. So we do everything from surveys to, if I was to kind of whip out my cell phone right now, I could tell you where every single sales rep and every single contractor are at, like at this very moment.
And so over the years, Danley starts out and it's doing the volume you mentioned, but then competition too, I assume, makes it a more challenging environment in which to work. You just have to continue to be better and involved. But also the regulatory landscape here. You're talking about building garages, so building structures, so that necessarily involves city government and municipal governments and permitting. And how has that changed over that time period too, in terms of what you need to adapt to?
So that's changed pretty dramatically. It is a pretty fragmented industry, so there are not many well-known brands in the industry. But if you think of just the 300 municipalities that we deal with on a regular basis, the number of building codes and permitting restrictions are just massive. And if you look at our permit books throughout the office here, it is very, a permit in one municipality may be pretty quick. Another one may take 3 months.
how's the city of Chicago to deal with?
So surprisingly, the city of Chicago is fairly easy to deal with, and that's largely because the lot size is pretty standard. So when you're dealing with a 25 by 125 foot lot.
I know the measurements.
Yeah.
I
Amy knows
live
them well.
on them. Yep.
So if you had to build 100,000 garages today, it would take you 100,000 years. Is that what you're saying?
Dealing with suburban requirements, possibly, but that's why customers come to us, right? We're selling the entire experience. We're taking all of those headaches out of their heads.
And people are using the garages for more than just cars. Some use them for storage. I remember
Meth labs.
Dean down the street. It was his man cave. No, meth lab. We stop it. It was his man cave where he set up a nice TV. He had a space heater. I mean, it was where the guys went to talk, to get away from the
I think
ladies.
you've been watching too many King of Queens episodes.
No, when I grew up in Mount Prospect, people would do that. I remember Al Carnetz, he had his man cave. Everyone would go to the garage, and that was their
Correct.
their satellite office, so to
I
speak.
assume you don't work in as downscale clients as Amy and her friends. You're trying, that's not your.
No, but do you help make man caves?
We do.
Yeah.
The garage has become more of an element of the home these days than it was in the past. It's no longer just car storage. We have customers that are looking from everything from workshops to lofted attics, stairs inside the garage, man caves, as you mentioned, car lifts for antiques and sports cars. So it kind of runs the gambit.
Do you guys get outside of Chicago Metro, or is there plans to be in Northwest Indiana, Wisconsin?
So we are in Chicago land, so Chicago and the suburbs. We already do some business in northern Indiana, but at some point, as we kind of build our systems out, we will start expanding the footprint.
So go back to Feldco, because you were the chief operating officer at Feldco,
chief financial officer,
chief CFO at Feldco before you came here, and that was a turnaround as well of sorts.
Years ago, so that business was acquired almost 18 years ago. It's grown about tenfold since the acquisition back in the year 2000. Ton of great people. And what's great about acquiring a business like this, 17 years after Feldco, is we've built out a lot of the infrastructure and the systems. And so we have a full call center back at Feldco. We have, the marketing prowess and the great marketing team there. And
I love those commercials.
Yeah, right.
Well, we're going to get Danley's commercials back up and running.
There are already a few of them running. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Just not an AM 560. But it's interesting. It's an interesting story about like resuscitating great brands and the what you do, and it are the things that you do in one that are translatable to another. I mean, I think that's really interesting for a lot of the small business owner, operator, entrepreneurs that listen to the show.
Correct. I mean, as someone that like Amy, growing up here in Chicago, growing up in the '80s, it's what you heard. Watching a lot of Cubs baseball, you heard the Danley's brand, and we acquired it at a good time. It was second generation, and it was kind of a good opportunity for us to step in and again bring our business practices.
Well, but speak to that for a second. What the special sauce, as it were, it's as specific as you can be. What you guys did at Feldco and what you're planning to do similarly at Danley.
Correct. It all goes back to that tracking of the customer experience. So from the moment they call in, we know how many leads are coming in. We know how well we're closing them. After a project is completed, we call every customer and ask them a pretty scripted kind of survey. How was your experience? Did you like your salesperson? Did you like the person that came and installed your product? And everyone in the company is incentivized based on those metrics.
Yeah, and how many people do you employ? And I know the main office is here in Northbrook. Are there other offices?
This is the only office. There's about 30 people in total, about a dozen here. It's a pretty small office, as you can see, and that's because almost all of our activities happen out in the field.
Yeah. So thinking about the business climate in Illinois, particularly since your footprint may grow to, is already in northern Indiana, may grow from there. What are the challenges that you face as a owner operator trying to grow a business in this state? What is it that you guys talk about in terms of the policy environment or the climate environment that you wish was better in addition to suburban permitting processes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the permitting processes are difficult, but when people stay put in their homes, the repair and remodel market actually does pretty well, and I think that's what you're kind of seeing right now. Interest rates are in a increasing rate environment. When people tend to stay put, it's when the repair and remodel market's strong, and that's kind of the marketplace or the sector that we play in.
Yeah, now that people are getting their tax returns back,
Correct.
People are getting to keep more money that they're making because of the Trump tax cuts.
Correct.
Don't you predict business might go up a little bit?
We would see that. It seems like we just finished up Q1. It's been a pretty strong quarter. Customers seem like they're in a pretty in a buying mood.
Yeah. So now, when you buy a Danley's garage, it comes with a garage door, the whole thing. You don't have to go to a separate company to get a garage door.
We demolish it. We completely erect a new one. Yeah.
So you're an MBA from Northwestern, which is where I went to undergrad. No, I'm just saying.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Lane Tech grad.
Lane Tech grad, which is where Amy should send her kids. But Northwestern, I mean, I know you're from Chicago, but Northwestern grad, and then you get into the Windows business and you get into the roofing business. Is this what you envisioned you'd be doing when you were getting your MBA?
I wanted to be part of an entrepreneurial business, right? And I think at the end of the day, we have a colleague back at the office that talks about how he was industry agnostic, and I've always loved that term.
Industry agnostic.
Yeah, and I think you have
industry agnostic. Let's make a T-shirt.
Yeah, I think you have to be when you're looking to look out there for businesses to acquire. Right, it's not all about microchips and software. There's still a lot of good, strong, family-owned and operated businesses that are out on the market, and that's really where you can step in and provide a lot of value.
There you go. He is Uday Kedkar. He is the president of Danley's Garages. Look forward for more fun, memorable commercials coming your way. And Uday, thanks so much for joining us and for hosting us, and continued success with the business.
Oh, Dan and Amy, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Right.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, the sun is shining, but it's breezy out there and cool. We will have a high of in the low 40s, actually 43 if we're lucky enough. Tonight, a low of 31 degrees with some clouds. And tomorrow, breezy, cold rain that might turn into a few snowflakes. 42 degrees for a high. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Thanks, Dan. Eastbound on the Reagan Tollway is very heavy from Randall Road to past Naperville Road. There was a westbound crash. There are delays westbound starting at 355. And eastbound, it's also heavy, 83 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, southbound stop and go. Army Trail to St. Charles. Northbound jammed. Boughton most of the way to St. Charles. And North Avenue to 290. Edens runs 24 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound, it's 30 minutes. Kennedy, an hour and 16 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 48 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound, 47 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 16 minutes, 390 to the Circle, 54 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, 52 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 45 minutes. The Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Now, for years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake County region of southwest Wisconsin, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Well, now that same experience is available for women beginning this summer for their summer classes, and in the fall, they are offering opportunities for men and young ladies, grades 7 through 12, for boarding or day boarding. And again, it's going full co-ed. Now, this is not a place for juvenile delinquents. Children come here from all over the country and from all over the world. We were there a few Fridays ago, and it is impressive. The cadets have a level of respect unlike anything I've ever seen. They're the future leaders of this country, and it's a place that you can trust for your son or now daughter. And as a mom, I want to know that if I did choose a military boarding school, that it would encompass the values that I look for. Limited registration for their co-ed summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy is happening now. They have 4 one-week programs where they can come for the day or stay overnight for a week, and they do some fun things. They're going through mud pits, they're playing paintball, they're learning how to scuba dive, rappelling walls, rock climbing, you name it, they do it. The academy is on a 110-acre property that is theirs. And there's rivers in there. You can go canoeing, sailing, and they also have a golf course. So for more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It really works, so I'm a big fan. Whatever you're putting in there is good stuff. Well, I'm never without them. I've been taking them steadily since I started with you people, and it's really, like I said, I don't get to eat enough vegetables or fruit, and this is really a godsend, to be able to just pop a couple of pills, and that's it. It's good.
I'm just seeing a physical result of my new regime. My fingernails are finally growing and getting stronger, so that's great. And I know something is changing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years.
and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with Alarm Detection Systems. We offer medical alert devices with 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring. Setup is easy, and a live professional is waiting to assist you. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
People have long associated the Ozinga name with concrete, but truth be told, Ozinga has always been on a quest to create a better world. We want to help you build your business so you can provide for your family, create better jobs, and build your community. It's why we constantly engineer better concrete, haul raw materials, and supply cleaner fuel. Together, we can positively impact the places where we live, work, and play throughout the Chicagoland area. To learn more, go to ozinga.com. That's ozinga.com.
So, you're a truck driver, a clutch cowboy, a wrangler of the road. At Ozinga, you are exactly who we need. Concrete truck drivers. People who aren't afraid of a little adventure and hard work. If you're tired of monotony and are looking to build something that matters, then come build with us. At Ozinga, we are building our families, our communities, and our country. Apply online today at ozinga.com. That's ozinga.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I want to get back to our haiku challenge. We've got our finalists, and Amy will make the determination on who the haiku challenge, Comey Haiku Challenge winner is, unless I disagree, and then I'll overrule her. All right, here are the
Wow,
finalists.
isn't that how? That's just called a typical day.
Are you ready for the
AM
finalists?
560, the answer. Yes,
All
I'm
right.
ready. Speak.
Okay. The first finalist for the Comey Haiku Challenge.
Name, please.
708.
Thank you.
That's
fine. I got it.
Nom de plume.
Yeah.
He could have had her, but Trump doesn't kill people, and the Clintons do.
Nice. All right. I got
Pretty
it.
good. All right.
You get it 1 out of 10, 10 being the best. All right, go.
Oh, is that? Oh, you're
just-
scoring.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
Next.
Hold on.
Feed the beast, as they say. The judge is ready.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. This from Holly from Hudson. She has multiple entries in the finals. Doesn't mean she's going to win, though.
I'm going to try not to be biased because she's a woman, but go on.
Holly from Hudson. Comey Haiku Challenge. Finalist.
Yes.
I am a flawed man, but not a partisan hack. Where is my pea hat?
Oh yeah. She's digging deep.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I like
All
it.
right. Steve on 88.
Steve.
Finalist.
Try not to be biased.
Comey
yes.
Haiku Challenge. Fact is, you look up, but you cannot see my crimes. Indictment awaits.
Oh, that's some strong stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Amby Davis's bowling ball.
Oh,
Haiku.
boy, here we go.
Comey
Try not to
Haiku
be
Challenge
biased.
finalist. Everyone look at me. Need others' light for mine to shine. Orange is my new flack. All right, next one. I like that one, actually.
It's all right. I mean, it's yeah.
right.
Thanks for coming out. Be
Finalist.
sure to try out next year.
Finalist in the Comey Haiku Challenge. Dan Proft's beard.
Dan Proft's beard. Can I see that?
Yeah, Dan Proft's beard.
Oh my God, is it hair?
Yeah, in the cutting room
Oh,
floor.
that is so disgusting. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get sick. Okay.
His entry.
Change
or
the
hers, I don't
picture,
know.
please. I mean, they can use a picture of you with your beard, not hair on the floor. Ugh, looks like it smells. All right, go. Ugh.
Comey Haiku Challenge finalist Dan Proft's beard. The entry. Morality conflicts in me. His orange face beckons the dark side.
Ooh.
Tiny hands break my manhood.
Oh, that's, you know what?
It's pretty good.
That's really good.
All right, and a second final entry from Holly from Hudson, who is clearly the volume winner, but this is about quality. The
Okay.
best.
I know.
All right, second final entry from Holly from Hudson, Comey Haiku Challenge. Drapes cannot protect. My O face emerges now. Small hand reaches out.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's
the winner.
It's very good. Wait a second. We're not done.
I know. I'm not done. I'm not biased. Go on.
Now, this is a controversial entry because it may not meet the 575 beat requirement, but we're going to go ahead. Mark Toman. Acting virtuous, purposely let me restart. Mark Toman, Call Me Haiku finalist. Final entry. Acting virtuous, purposefully uncomprehending and vain, he shouts, Comey is my name. Yeah.
Is that 575?
Yeah. All right, and the last finalist is Daryl Niaz. Call Me Haiku Challenge, final entry. I'm a helpless man. He made me pledge loyalty. Wish I were stronger.
Well, all of these are fine entries, and I want to thank everyone for coming out and for doing the haiku challenge. But there's a clear winner, and it's Dan Proff's beard.
Dan Proff's beard.
I think Dan Proff beard. And second place, because everyone goes home happy, is definitely Holly from Hudson, and then Steve on 88. And then
I'm going to get. I want a 708. It deserves at least an honorable mention for he could have had her, but Trump doesn't kill people, and the Clintons do. That deserves at least some kind of honorable mention.
Congeniality award.
All right, very good. All right, and that concludes our Comey Haiku Challenge. Thank you to all of our participants. We appreciate how poetic our listening audience is.
Yes, how intelligent they are. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we're going to talk to Joseph Tartakovsky. Easy for
names
you to
are
say.
Hard.
Oh, okay, name assassinator. He's an editor at the Claremont Review of Books, and he's got a new book, The Lives of the Constitution, 10 Exceptional Minds That Shaped America's Supreme Law, and we'll discuss those minds in that Constitution, 838.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 31 degrees at 8:32. Former Attorney General Loretta Lynch has been defending how she handled the investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while Secretary of State. Former FBI Director James Comey appeared on ABC's Good Morning America again today, saying Lynch's refusal to recuse herself was a problem.
There should have been a discussion about whether she should be involved in the matter, but what she did was say, I'm going to stay involved, but I'll accept his recommendation, which put me and the FBI in a terrible spot.
Comey has a new book out today that says Lynch told him to call the FBI's investigation into the Clinton emails a matter, not an investigation. Syrian state media now says a reported strike on military installations was a false alarm. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster met with reporters this morning saying he is not surprised violence erupted inside of a prison in his state. 7 inmates died after fights broke out. Prisons Chief Brian Sterling said this morning inmate access to illegal cell phones was the main cause. Crews are continuing efforts to try and contain wildfires in western Oklahoma, where Fire Chief Mike Carlin says the weather is not helping.
The wind's horrible. The only thing that we've had is cooler temperatures, and that hasn't affected the fire conditions at all.
The fires, which started late last week, have scorched hundreds of thousands of acres. Chicago experiencing a bitter cold this April. National Weather Service says it is the 4th coldest start to April on record. Chicago aldermen are putting the brakes on a proposal designed to force banks working with the city to help fight gun violence. Chicago City Council's Finance Committee put a hold on the ordinance yesterday that would ban the city from working with banks whose other clients may allow unrestricted gun sales. Chicago sports, Cardinals and Cubs postponed due to inclement weather. They'll try again tonight. A's over the White Sox, 8-1 in Oakland. The news is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on a huge selection of ink, paper, and the latest printers. Now at Staples, get 50% off the HP OfficeJet Pro 6900 series this week only at Staples, your total printing solution. While supplies last, valid on SKU 225-6781, ends 421. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't going to get pushed around.
There's so much ugliness out there, and I admit I kind of contributed to it yesterday. Now, you know me. somebody calls me and acts like a jerk to me, like a few of you did yesterday, I'm not going to just roll over because I didn't like the way the tone went with some of our callers.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at the HomeLoanExpert.com. Ryan, I know serving those who serve our country is really important to you. You're always looking for ways to help our troops. Tell our listeners about your new program, Hero Loan for Military Families.
This is one that we're really proud of. And we've done VA loans since the beginning of time. And the problem is when you're waiting on the VA, and I'm not trash talking them or anything along those lines, but you are just what I said, you're waiting. And I think the average turn time to get a VA loan closed with most lenders is 60 to 90 days. And we thought that was ridiculous. So 2 years ago, I started the application with the VA, and I just received the highest delegation that they can bestow on a lender, meaning I can now process, underwrite, close, and fund all VA loans in-house. What does that mean for the veterans and the service members and their families? I close VA loans in 14 days, and I even pay for the appraisal. If you're looking for a VA loan, apply online today at hero.loan. That's hero.loan, the only way to VA. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
8:36. Let's get an update on what's going on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. Tri-State southbound, it's heavy from 2E to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound, 111th to 75th, and the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Reagan Tollway jammed eastbound Randall to past Naperville Road after a westbound crash. Also heavy 83 to the Tri-State, and westbound it's still slow, 355 to near Naperville. Northbound Veterans Memorial, bottled up from Boughton most of the way to St. Charles, and North Avenue to 290, southbound Army Trail to St. Charles. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook Junction outbound 30. Kennedy, an hour and 16 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 48 minutes from Montrose and 40 at the Express. Eisenhower, an hour 16, 390 to the Circle, 54 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour 14, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny and chilly. High near 42. Clouds cold 30 overnight. 32 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, coming to you live from Dan Lee's Garages in Northbrook, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank to our last stop.
Woohoo!
Final half hour of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour for 2018.
I'm always sad when it comes to an end because
Yeah.
I really enjoy just seeing how other people live. I
It's
mean,
fun.
literally, like how, businesses are formed, how they're
Yeah.
resurrected, how, manufacturing works.
Yeah, what productive, successful people look like.
Exactly.
Since we don't get to interact with those people, we're just back in the studio.
I like to see other people.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. It's
Besides
fun.
you, men.
Well, as
Love men.
as we move into this era of the rule of men, what?
I was just saying how I love men. I'm always around you guys. Yes.
I mean that in the gender
inclusive
sense.
Thank you.
Men and women in the political ruling class.
Yes.
Which subordinating the rule of law. It's healthy to perhaps, reflect back upon the founding principles as expressed in the founding documents and understand the basis of the United States Constitution and the arguments that were made by the exceptional minds that have made them over the course of our nation's history. Perhaps people before us knew a thing or two that may still be relevant in this day. I know that that's a proposition that isn't as popular as it used to be, but I still cling to it, as one former president might say. And so interested in this new book The Lives of the Constitution, 10 Exceptional Minds That Shaped America's Supreme Law, by a J.D. from Fordham and fellow in constitutional law at the Claremont Institute. He is Joseph Tartakovsky, and he joins us now. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me, Dan and Amy.
So this kind of hybrid of biography and history about our Constitution, kind of give us the impetus for putting together this book and not just excerpting the Federalist Papers and republishing those.
Well, thanks. And sorry, by the way, spring hasn't arrived there yet. I'm calling from San Francisco, so I feel
I'm sorry you have to live in Pelosi land. Return the
in
favor.
Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
where they don't believe in Christians. No, just kidding.
Well, to answer your question, it is that I tried to figure out what has given us the principles and the strength to have lived under the Constitution for now 9 generations. I mean, it's an extraordinary thing. It's an extraordinary run. I took a different approach than most books on the Constitution. They're usually sort of a recitation of famous Supreme Court cases. But you brought up the rule of law versus the rule of men. I guess to borrow from a figure in the book, Woodrow Wilson, who was sort of a provocateur on these things, he made the point that actually it is, in a way, a rule of men versus law, and in the inclusive sense, in the sense that it matters very much who are judges, who are leaders, who are people. The character of the people matters very much, in the sense that it was important to have a Lincoln as opposed to a Buchanan at the right time, in the right place, or a Washington over an Aaron Burr. So I find that the story of individual people, their acts, our experiences, our wars, our culture, changing technology, all of this plays an important role and has played in interpreting our Constitution.
Well, let's talk about the history and the meaning of the Second Amendment and how it applies to gun control today.
Sure. I think the law under the Constitution today is that the only thing a government can't do is disarm a population. That was the Heller decision in 2008. I think that was right. I don't think there's a distinction between an individual right and a militia right, in the sense that the militia presumed individual ownership of a gun. That's what pass muster meant. It meant you show up in the town square and they make sure your gun is working. The biggest misconception about the Second Amendment is that the Second Amendment has not been an obstacle to gun control. That is to say, it has not been the case that legislatures or Congress keeps trying to pass laws limiting gun ownership and then a judge strikes it down under the Second Amendment. It's been a matter of lack of political will. And that's sort of a theme in the book, that there's most things are possible under the Constitution. It leaves an extraordinary amount of discretion to the people. But there's this strange tendency to blame the Constitution when you don't get your way politically.
Right, and Milton Friedman observed this too, about kind of the interventionist nature of the leftist intellectual elite, about the arguments that they have to make, which are easier to, I guess, stomach than the arguments of the restrained individual, the individual that believes restraint on government. For leftist intellectuals, you say, well, this is a bad thing that's occurring, and here is the evil cause of it, and so let's make a law to deal with the evil cause and eliminate the bad thing, assuming, of course, that the law will not exacerbate the problem, will always minimize the problem. And it's a much more difficult thing to say, to argue, as I think the founders intended to argue, particularly the anti-federalists who insisted on the Bill of Rights, that sometimes it's negative restraints. Restraints on government is appropriate, and people need to figure out and deal with these evils and these challenges that creep up with the interaction of people, generally speaking, in a community. And that needs to be done themselves. It doesn't always require the force of a central government.
Yeah, that's true. And I explore that particular topic through Tocqueville. He's in the book. I think he's a person who did more than almost any foreigner to shape our self-understanding. And he, just like you say, he was amazed when he got here to see how, when people needed a school, this little sort of mini Congress would just spring up and they would discuss, who's going to pay for the school and where to build it. But no one would appeal to the state government. Or when he talked about how in Europe they had fire departments, he thought we didn't have those in America. I don't know if that's quite accurate, but he just noticed that when a fire would break out, all the neighbors would just rush in, no authority in sight, and that has been an important part of our culture. This is how we have self-government.
Well, what about immigration in the Constitution? I mean, America's history of immigration law and some of the key constitutional points. Can you give us some examples? In the Constitution, it gives broad latitude to Congress, and there are certain limits on Congress determines naturalization. This was a big thing at the convention. The founders had very different views. Some people were afraid of Europeans coming. They thought it would sort of dilute our culture. But we had a number of men at the convention who were themselves immigrants, like James Wilson, who's in my book. He was from Scotland. And there's some pretty tense moments during the convention when they were citing things like, is it necessary to have been born here to hold office? And as you know, they decided that would be the case only with presidents. You have to be a natural-born citizen. But there's actually a part of that provision that says, unless you were here at the time of the creation of the government, so you wouldn't rule out these people from the United Kingdom. I think they had James Wilson wanted to bring more immigration. Some of the founders wanted more restriction. Thomas Jefferson has I think it's his first annual message to Congress, thought that we ought to loosen it up. We were making it too hard to become citizens. So the Constitution on immigration, like on a lot of things, gives us a lot of latitude. And the only thing that we require... Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The only thing we really require of people, which I like as a nice symbolic thing, the only thing we require for you to become a citizen is to take an oath to uphold our Constitution and obey our laws.
As you explore the minds behind the fashioning of the law in light of the Constitution, or sometimes perhaps in contravention of it, of course, we tend to kind of only look in our time and say, the problems of race or the problems of immigration or the arguments over some of these topics in a political context, they're worse now than they've ever been, and we're careening towards some bad place. But it seems like if you actually take a kind of a walk through U.S. history and look at some of the terrible Supreme Court decisions and the civil unrest and the internal conflicts, the Civil War, that we've been careening to bad places on and off again for the entire nation's history, and what endures, at least in the abstract, is a general belief in the principles embodied in the Constitution. Both sides, all sides in any particular argument, will invoke the Constitution, sometimes only when it's convenient, but nonetheless, that tells you something about its enduring quality, about its importance, and about the reverence that people generally have for it, even when they discard it. They don't discard it in name, they just discard it in practice. And that's telling, I think.
I think that's well said. We have letters from Hamilton, Washington, John Marshall, and Hamilton, all of them in private, confessing their heartfelt conviction that the Constitution was born sick and unlikely to survive its first practical tests. This was a perilous time. Maybe they were justified in feeling that way, but 230 years later, after having gotten through civil wars and world wars and every imaginable type of crisis, I think it's due to us to try to figure out what has made this so permanent, and how do we get through these. James Bryce is another figure in my book. He was a Scottish historian that came over. He said, this is a country that got through the Civil War with scarcely the smell of fire on its constitution. I mean, he was just amazed. We continued to have elections during our Civil War. So I think that's right. I think, and it just may be that this sort of anxiety about our Constitution that we feel today, but which we have always felt, is part of the reason why we keep getting. I mean, we think hard about preserving our Constitution in every generation, and it's carried us through.
He is Joseph Tartakovsky. He's the author of the book, The Lives of the Constitution, 10 Exceptional Minds That Shaped America's Supreme Law. He's a former Deputy Solicitor General in Nevada and a James Wilson Fellow in Constitutional Law at the Claremont Institute. Joseph, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the book.
Thank you both. I appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey everyone, Ken here from the award-winning company Income Store. If you were lost and scared in a forest, would you rather have a guide map or a guide standing next to you? Both will lead you out of the forest, one's just a bit more expeditious. When it comes to making more money, have you ever felt lost? Does it drive you a little batty when you know there's people out there, teenagers even, that are adding a different revenue stream, even in different industries, each and every year of their lives? Don't you know deep down there has to be a path out of what we call the financial forest? You know it's there, you just haven't found it yet. For almost a decade now, Income Store has provided guide maps to the do-it-yourselfers, the folks that have considerably more time than money, but they've also been the trusted guide to those with more money than time. If you're ready to stop bouncing around this thing we call the financial forest and serious about adding a second, third, or even fourth revenue model to your home or business, then you have to check out the 5-time Inc. 5000 Income Store. That's incomestore.com.
Americans in every tax bracket got a tax cut thanks to the tax bill signed into law last year, which means you got more money to spend on what's important to you. Democrats in Congress who voted against the tax cuts are promising to raise your taxes if they win in November. They want your money back to spend on their priorities. Only you can stop them. To find out how much more money you'll be bringing home, go to taxcutswork.com. There's an easy-to-use calculator that tells you how much money the new tax cuts are saving you this year and next. Check your savings at taxcutswork.com, then sign a letter to Congress telling them to keep their grubby hands off your tax cut savings. The Tax Cuts Work Tour is coming to the Fauna International at 1900 Averill Road in Geneva on Sunday, April 29th at 2 p.m. Meet small business owners, elected officials, and the folks from Job Creators Network to hear how the tax cuts are working and share your story, too. That's Fauna International in Geneva on Sunday, April 29th, 2 p.m. Learn more at taxcutswork.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I can't thank you enough for this product. Because I get up in the morning, I take 6 capsules of the fruit, and I get this wonderful wellness feeling and alertness. And you got to understand, I'm 90 years old.
It's really helped me and my husband and my son a lot, with our immune systems. We haven't been sick. We've been avoiding, all of that. So I'm really happy with that.
This is a wonderful product. I mean, it's just I just feel so different.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
It's still hard to tell the difference between Congressman Todd Rokita and Congressman Luke Messer. Rokita and Messer are 2 career politicians, and for nearly 30 years, they've lived on the taxpayer dole. 30 years! They're both lawyers who never practiced, and their records in Congress are the same too. In Washington, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer voted to fast-track Obama's bad trade deals, to add $500 billion to our debt, and even to fund liberal priorities like Obama's executive amnesty, not to mention funding for abortion provider Planned Parenthood. In fact, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer have voted the exact same way in Congress 95% of the time. It's true. This election, remember, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer are the same. They're 2 career politicians, and they're wrong for Indiana.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
It's Dan Proft, and I'm excited to tell you about the Dangerous Camp for Boys and over 20 other summer camps from Northridge Prep. What's Dangerous Camp? It's a camp designed to get your boys off their iPads, iPhones, and video games this summer. It's dangerously fun, not unsafe. They throw water balloons, play games, and learn the meaning of outdoor adventure. As a listener to the morning show, you've heard me talk about Northridge Prep, the all-boys school in Niles that instills the traditional values you hold as parents. Their summer programs for boys in grades 1 through 8 combine fun, adventure, and character growth. You won't find camps like this anywhere else. A few camps caught my eye, like basketball camps led by a former NCAA Division I coach and varsity players, Battles of the Civil War, Bugs and Botany, Intro to Musical Improv, even a robotics camp where campers learn to build, pilot, and code their own robots. Get your son off the couch and into the outdoors. You can learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Spring is here. It's Amy Jacobson, and I suggest you add this to your spring cleaning. Throw out that old flat pillow and buy your very own new MyPillow. Not only will it keep its shape and adjust your ideal sleeping position, but you can wash and dry it whenever you want. And yes, the best MyPillow 4-pack deal is still available. Go online or call now to take advantage of this great deal. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the MyPillow 4-pack deal with 2 premium MyPillows and my favorite, those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. Start spring out right. No more headaches or stiff neck with your hypoallergenic Made in America MyPillow with its 10-year warranty plus that 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the MyPillow 4-pack today. Call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer.
So did you hear the news? An American woman won the Boston Marathon for the first time in 33 years, and she happens to be 33 years old. Her name is Desiree Linden. She's from Detroit area. And she did it in 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 54 seconds. Congratulations to Desiree.
Liz Linden now passing the grandstand here with just yards to go.
Validation after 7 years. Here we are.
An incredible victory. Arms raised.
Yeah, I want to hear more of that Vangelis music.
Well,
I want to hear more music. Cherry
well,
Safari.
why do you have an aversion to the marathon?
This is dumb.
It is not dumb. It is a
Running,
122-year-old tradition in
unless
Boston.
unless you have a ball in your hand or you're trying to get a ball in your hands, running is stupid.
That day on, if I was going somewhere, I was running.
And then even Forrest Gump just stopped for no reason. That's the whole point. Makes no sense. It's just totally arbitrary.
None of the transgenders that ran finished in the top 10. So that's good for the real women out there. Sorry, too soon. No Kenyans placed. Oh, I don't think any Kenyans placed in the top 10. 7 of the 10 top runners were all Americans, and that never happens. Do you know why we were so successful yesterday?
Tell me.
Because it was cold out. It was 22 degrees. It was windy out, and it was raining. It was raining.
So some of those women were freezing their nuts off. Is what
Well,
you're
yeah,
saying.
actually, they had to, medics had to attend to 912 people, mostly who were suffering from hypothermia. So she pulled through, man. She did it valiantly. And she even stopped for a potty break. God bless this woman.
Marathon coverage, so riveting.
Yes.
Stupid.
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Danley's Garage for our business benefactor tour completion. we'll see you back tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Here now is Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching for you this morning on AM 560 The Answer. Mayor Emanuel discusses plans to expand the Chicago riverfront. Chicago aldermen put the brakes on a gun control policy involving banks. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.